hopping on here. I'll be here for, I don't know, hour or 2 hours, depending how active the chat is. And we're just going to talk about the fights, talk about DraftKings lineups, bets, monkey knife fight picks, plays, and just giving each other advice and sharing information so that we can hopefully all get rich again. We've had a couple of awesome weeks in a row. I can't remember the last time we had a bad week. So we've had a couple of really good weeks in a row, at least with the betting and the monkey knife fights. It's impossible to have a bad monkey knife fight week. I don't even think that's a thing. But certainly with the betting, we've had a bunch of good weeks in a row. This is one of the trickier cards. So I'm here. I'm live. I will be live for, I don't know, like I said, hour, 2 hours, something like that. Talk about the fights so we can all get prepared, help each other out. Hop in, join the chat, ask me questions, ask each other questions. That's literally what this is for, just to help each other out so we can all get rich and share information. If you're new here, my name's Angelo. I run this channel with Dan Kramer, Nick Newell, and our buddy Jacob. Dan and Nick are two longtime professional fighters. I've managed fighters for 15 years. And we started this show to break down fights, share information, share insight, and help everybody get rich along with ourselves because we're doing pretty well too. So got a bunch of people in the chat here. Let's see what's going on. So Mbaye, is Jacob coming on? He might be. Jacob's mom is actually visiting him. So I live in Texas. Jacob lives in Texas. And his mom is visiting because he hasn't seen her in a while. So I don't know. He hopped on last night to film with me, but I don't know if he'll be able to hop on during this live stream. Dan will be coming on for a bit. And I actually text Nick Newell as well to see if he's got some free time. Nick is promoting his movie right now. So his movie comes out next week. It's called Notorious. It is literally based on his life. And that comes out next week, August 6th. Hype MMA. How's it going? Decent card, even with some dropouts. Yeah, I agree. This is a good card. And honestly, this is a really tricky card. I know I say tricky a lot, but man, so many of these matchups are super close. Like even the Miranda Maverick, Macy Barber fight, everybody's like Miranda Maverick's going to dominate, blah, 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 blah. I've seen very few people say Macy Barber, and I agree. Amanda Maverick should win. With that being said, I mean, Macy Barber is a legit good boxer, and Maverick has some cardio issues at times, and you know, anything can go. And Barber she's got high fight IQ, so you know, there's a lot of really good matchups. Even the ones that look like blowouts on paper, I don't think are blowouts. Joe Todoro with the super chat. Thank you very, very much, Joe. And Joe, I'll have you on here a little later. Let's get this going. I'll have you on here a little later. You can run through the DraftKings expected ownership and stuff like that because that was great. And Joe with the super chat said, hope everyone's doing good and well. Another good card and day of fights. If you haven't joined the family yet, it's not too late. I appreciate that, Joe. And you're right. Subscribe, become a member, all of the above. Actually, let me turn on the widgets so we know when people become members. There we go. Jill, how many dogs are going to win today? I would say this is the most live dog card in a very, very long time. I think these odds are crazy. I think a lot of the underdogs are super live today. I wouldn't be surprised if when I'm looking at the fights, I can't think of one right now off the top of my head where I'm 100% positive who's going to win. The main event, I think Dillashaw is going to win. Big underdog. I think Sijara Eubanks is going to lose. I think she has big-time cardio issues. She's going down in weight. That's not going to help her cardio issues. So I think she's going to lose. She's a big favorite. Macy Barber could win. Kyler Phillips could lose. Big favorite. He could lose. Paeva's legit. So, I mean, this is the most, let's put it this way. Every single favorite could win. I wouldn't be surprised. Every single underdog could win. I wouldn't be surprised. This is a really, really hard card to pick. So we drew some lines. Hopefully we'll help you guys out. Jim from Softball, I can't read. I very well may become a member via your site. YouTube and I don't get along. I appreciate that. We don't have a membership through our website just yet. We are going to try to roll that out. But yeah, but I appreciate the support. Hopefully you're a subscriber. What else we got? Dunchichi, my man. We've been going back and forth in the comments. Here's a legitimate question. Do you think Dillashaw will be able to use his wrestling before getting knocked out? Well, I don't think he's going to get knocked out. So, and I do think he'll use his wrestling. Here's the thing. And I went back and forth with a bunch of you, and people got nasty with me this week. I got into like some actual arguments. And listen, I'm from the Northeast. I like to argue, and my wife can attest to that. I like to argue. I have no problems arguing, and I'm very quick with the mouth. So some people, I gotta, YouTube is in the whole world here, so I can't expect everybody to be as thick-skinned as I am. But I have gotten into some arguments with people in the chat today, or in the comment section, some of which about Dillashaw. So here's the thing with Dillashaw. I do think he's going to win. Would I be surprised if he came out and looked like a freaking deflated balloon? No. He obviously was doing stuff he shouldn't have been doing, got caught 2 years off. He could come back looking exactly the same. He could come back looking better. He can come back looking like a deflated balloon and just be an absolute bum. And we have seen that. Somebody in the comments kept saying, don't be naive. I don't know what I would be naive about. I've been managing fighters for 15 years. I have seen everything you could possibly ever imagine, above board or otherwise. So I know exactly what goes on, how it goes on. I mean, I've seen people sleep in baby oil. You work out, you suck your body dry, you cut your weight, and then you go lay in a bathtub full of baby oil and let your body soak it up so that when you go out there and you sweat, the baby oil comes out of your pores. I have seen literally everything, all the tricks, all the weasel ways. I've seen all of it. So with that being said, Dillashaw, I think he wins. I have to assume he's going to be prepared and look good. Maybe his cardio won't be as fantastic, but his wrestling is top-notch, way better than Sandhagen's wrestling. Sandhagen's probably got better raw jiu-jitsu, but Dillashaw, I mean, should be able to defend anything that happens. Dillashaw has more power in his hands and better movement. Sandhagen's the more accurate striker, the more well-rounded striker, but we'll see what happens. I think Dillashaw wins, and I absolutely 100% think he has a wrestle-heavy game plan. Let's see what we got. Joe Todoro says he has 3 underdogs winning. Let us know which ones. Yeah, so Sean V said the girl looked terrified of Eubanks. I think Eubanks rolls. So listen, Sijara Eubanks is a massive favorite. A massive favorite. So what I always hate is if I pick an underdog and then let's say like Montserrat lost. Montserrat lost in 30 seconds. You don't really get a good, accurate depiction of how that fight goes when somebody loses that quickly, right? One punch is one punch. With that being said, people couldn't wait to be like, oh, you idiot. Montserrat, I mean, Lemos was like a 9-1 favorite. That is exactly what was supposed to happen. Bragging about what was supposed to happen is absurd to me. In this case, Sijara Eubanks is supposed to kick the crap out of Reed. She's supposed to. I just think, I am not saying Elise Reed is better or more well-rounded or more experienced than Sijara Eubanks, because none of those statements are true. What I am saying is she's got really good cardio, really good pressure, and doesn't quit. Sijara Eubanks quits. She quits. She gets exhausted and she quits. She hasn't made 125 in a very long time. I imagine she's going to blow her wad, run out of gas, and I think Elise Reed is going to stay there, stay busy, and take those judges' scorecards. So that's why I have Elise Reed. I probably should have grabbed a 3.5 bet on her, but where she, basically just has to stay alive. I didn't see that prop, and maybe I'll check right now while we're hanging out. See what we got going on. Well, you guys are very active in this chat. Let's catch up. Corey has the best striking division, and we've seen TJ rocked quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, 2 years off could hurt or help that, right? So obviously he's coming off that loss, but 2 years off could do really good things for your chin and your brain, and you can come back stronger, or it can make it much worse. So yeah, he's not iron jawed by any means, but that's where the foot movement and the wrestling really come into play. And I don't know if this is a hill I'm willing to die on, right? I think Dillashaw wins. I love the value of Dillashaw, but I'm not, last week with Billy Quarantillo, I was 100% positive he was going to win, and those lines were crazy. I'm not that confident this week with almost anything. Jester, I've been real high on Kyler for a while. People keep underestimating this kid. Yeah, listen, Jacob is super high on him too. Jacob absolutely loves Kyler Phillips. I think I don't want to say issue. I don't have an issue with Kyler Phillips, but Kyler Phillips has very good wrestling. He makes good decisions when to use the wrestling. His stand-up is a little raw. And I don't know if we've seen him really fight somebody as good off their back as Paiva. So I have Kyler Phillips in my lineup. I said that was a super close fight in the breakdown. I was sort of leaning towards Paiva because of his striking and because of the jiu-jitsu off of his back. Once the Aspen Ladd fight dropped, I had to make a decision. So I went with Kyler Phillips, and I'm just hoping that his wrestling gets it done, right? I hope he shoots when he's supposed to shoot. Elbows in, chin down, and controls those positions. But I think Paiva has the better striking, and Paiva definitely has the better jiu-jitsu. But hopefully Kyler Phillips' wrestling base can keep his hips where they need to be and not get caught in a submission. My man Jesse, how you doing, Jesse? TJ has it. He's going to take it to the ground late rounds. Yeah, I mean, the over Dan's bets. Let's take a look at those. Dan's bets, he has the over 2.5 on rounds at even money for Sandhagen Dillashaw. I love that. I do think it will go. It might be a decision, but it's definitely going to go past 2.5 rounds, in my opinion. I would be surprised if somebody got starched. If somebody gets starched, it's either going to be TJ with the big overhand or TJ getting run over because without the juice, he's got nothing. Let's see. Yeah, Sean, you said that to Jacob in the comments too, that Kyler Phillips did not look good at weigh-ins, but I didn't see it. But Jacob said he popped right up. He was smiling. So, you know, he's a legitimate wrestler that like wrestled. So I imagine he's used to putting your body through that. I know I am, and I'm a slob now. Alexandre, first round for Sandhagen would be a good bet considering the long layoff for Dillashaw or not. Listen, if you're going to do that, it's not a terrible, I would throw just a little bit. I don't know what the odds are. I don't have it in front of me. But if you do that, I would throw just a little bit. Let me pull up the odds on it. I would throw just a tiny bit at that, right? Just a quarter of a unit, just to see if you can catch that at really good plus odds. I'm going to pull it up now on my other screen. Should I share it? I don't want you guys to see my my balance. Let's log in and see. All right. While I'm working on that on the other screen, Jim from softball. I keep hearing stuff about Corey getting the best of TJ in sparring and such. Any insight on that, or how much of a factor will be in the cage today? Yeah, I've heard all the same things. I don't think that's a factor, right? So that was a very, very long time ago. That wasn't 2-3 years ago. That was like 8, 9, 10 years ago. So that was a very long time ago. And honestly, they've both changed so much since then. And it doesn't mean anything because if we rewind in time, remember when Daniel Cormier fought, oh man, I'm going to forget his name. This whole thing's going to be pointless. Daniel Cormier got a short notice fight against that 205-pound fighter that was like a great wrestler and a Starbucks employee. And to hype that fight, he was saying that he would make Daniel Cormier cry in practice. I would break you in practice and I would make you cry. And I'm forgetting who it was. And Daniel Cormier like admitted that. He's like, first of all, what happens in the room should stay in the room. Second of all, you did, but that's practice. This is a fight. And then Daniel Cormier beat the absolute piss out of him in a real fight. So, you know, things are different in the room versus in real life. And I've seen the opposite, dude. I have seen absolute gym rat, gym heroes where in the room you would think they were straight up world champions. And then when you see them in competition, I'm talking wrestling and MMA, when you see them in competition, it's just not the same. So I don't know how much of a factor that actually is. And TJ Dillashaw is mentally strong enough to not let that bother him. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Boy, the comments are wild today, guys. Joe Todoro, unanimous decisions are Dillashaw, Elkins, and Belbita. So you think Elkins wins that fight? I see Derek Minner winning that. And Uhl winning a decision. That's very possible. He does have big-time cardio issues, though. Hilario, welcome. Appreciate that. Sorry, late to the party. Let's get these dubs, though. Absolutely. And guys, use the comments or use the live chat to chat with me and each other. TJ seems like a good DK play. Yeah, we'll get Joe Todoro on here a little later to talk about ownership. He has all the ownership numbers. We'll let this bubble up a little bit. But I love TJ at that price point in DraftKings. Looking at bets and DraftKings lineups now, enjoying the chat. Sangria, my man. Eric Gonzalez, TJ still one of the best to do it. I see him taking this fight. His wrestling is going to be key, and he's not a bad pick for his price. 100% agree. Eric and I on the exact same page. If you're watching this live stream and you don't subscribe, do me a favor, click subscribe. Costs you absolutely nothing. Tremendously helpful for us. Like the stream so it gets pushed out there. And if you want to become a member, you really want to support the channel, you can send a super chat like our buddy Joe did earlier, or you can click the join button below this video. All of that is very appreciated. What we are not going to do is charge you for anything. We're not going to charge you for our picks, not going to charge you for our bets. We're just putting out free content every single week and hoping we all get rich. Let's see. Thank you, Alexandra. I appreciate that. We're growing like crazy, which is good and bad. So we're growing, which is great, obviously. And then it's bad because you get a little more negative Nancy's showing up in the comment section. I have no problem if you want to disagree and debate, but once you start throwing out crap and saying people seem to hate Jacob this week. They love him or hate him. I mean, some of the comments, he ruins the show. I mean, it's clearly he is here for some insight and entertainment value. You know, if you don't like what he's saying about Ryan Hall, he's clearly messing around. Laugh at it and enjoy. Jesser with the 3-fight parlay. Costa, Yanez, Soriano, Allen, Sandhagen, Dillashaw. Nice. So the parlay is all of those get a stoppage at plus 170. I wonder what Barber ownership is on DK. I can see her with a round 1 TKO while everyone is on Maverick. Yeah, round 1 would be a little bit surprising, but I would not be shocked if Barber won. I completely agree with you. Listen, she knows her back is against the wall. She has decent fight IQ. It's not like she's not all hype, because even her losses, she made mistakes, but she went out there and she tried to make something happen. So she's not a Paige Van Zandt. Joe Todoro, it was Patrick Cummings. Thank you. And I'm catching up on the chat. You guys are going wild in this chat, so it's taking me a little while to catch up. Yeah, great. Mbaye said the same thing. Burns and Usman saying that Burns did better in training, and then look what happened. I agree. What happens in the room and what happens in the cage are two very different things. And I know that from even personal experience with wrestling. I didn't fight professionally. I was a wrestler. But I would get smoked. There was this one, I'm not going to say names, but there was one dude that would smoke me in the room. I just could not do anything in the room, and I don't know why. And then we went out there, we met in the finals of an open tournament, and I absolutely worked him. He was the same wrestler with the exact same technique. I don't know what the difference was, but I absolutely worked him. So maybe the difference was on my end, maybe it was on him. Either way, what happened in the room just did not matter. You like Barber on FanDuel. Does anyone play there? Scoring is very different. So, Jim, two things. One, the scoring is very different in FanDuel. And two, if you do Monkey Knife Fight allows you to do fantasy points. So instead of playing the strike lines, you can do the fantasy points. Who's going to score more? They use the FanDuel scoring system. So if you are familiar with the FanDuel Monkey Knife Fight scoring system, 100% go to Monkey Knife Fight and play that, because they get those lines wrong quite a bit. See what else we got. I think Arce is going to be a GPP winner, almost 20% spread between top finish value and ownership. Well, that's surprising. I would have expected him to be more highly owned, but I guess everybody's on Uhl because people love him and he's a massive human being for that weight class, but big time cardio issues. You can't be that big and have cardio, one or the other. Barber's an expert. It's funny. I just said she's not Paige Van Zandt. So we'll see. I mean, this fight will tell us a lot about her. So we'll see what Macy Barber does. Again, I do not think this is a lock for Miranda Maverick. I think Miranda Maverick should win literally because she has more tools. She can grapple. She uses her kicks a little better. So she has more tools, but we'll see. Barber, we'll see if that hype is real. Most confident pick. I do not know. This is a really, really hard card. Chat, let me know what your most confident picks are, and we'll take a look. I mean, Yanez is probably the most confident pick I have, or Minner. Yanez or Minner, but Yanez could get knocked out. I mean, Costa's got power, but Yanez or Minner are probably my two. Let's see. Kyler Phillips, minus 200 to go to cards. How do you see this finishing? Yeah, if you look at my bets, I have Raulian Paiva wins inside the distance, but decision, no action. So the way I see this going is Kyler Phillips either wins a decision, which is the more likely outcome, or Paiva knocks him out or throws up a submission off his back. Those are the only two outcomes. So this bet that I have here, I get plus 160 on it. If Paiva wins by stoppage, I get plus 160. If he loses a decision or even wins a decision, I get a refund. Money back, no skin off my back, like nothing ever happened. WeWantPicks.com/bets. So I think Phillips minus 200 to go to the cards. That's the more likely outcome. So Jill with Soriano as the most confident pick. So I have Soriano in my lineup. You see I have a knockout bet on Soriano. But I do think Brendan Allen is a savvy enough veteran. So that could be it could be a problem. He's a savvy enough veteran, could make things happen, but we'll see. Catching up on the chat. You guys are very active today. Anybody who is not a subscriber, click subscribe. Super, super helpful. Costs you nothing. Very little effort on your part. Tremendously helpful for us. Let's see. Catching up on chat. Damn, this chat's flying, guys. Thank you so much. Same here. I don't see Allen taking Puna down or standing with him without getting slept. That's a concern. If Brendan Allen cannot take him down, well, then that's it. That fight's over. So if he can take him down and nonstop wrestles, he absolutely can win that. But Soriano's got wrestling background. He's wrestled. So it's not like he's just, knockout or bust. I don't see him winning a decision, but he certainly can defend a few takedowns to keep it alive. Do you think Allen employs a wrestling grappling game plan? He better. So I imagine he will wrestle and grapple. I cannot. His last fight, we said he needed to wrestle, and he did. The fight before that, he thought he was Joe Kickboxer, and he got smoked. So I think he's aware enough of his surroundings and his abilities to know that he needs to wrestle. See. I don't see Kyler winning by KO. It's possible he can win by TKO on the ground, right? Anytime you have a pretty good wrestler like that, I don't see that happening. I do think he'll win by decision. Let's do it. And don't forget, anybody watching this, do not forget, this is an early card. The prelims kick off at 4 p.m. Eastern. This is not a normal Saturday night card. This is a late day, early, afternoon type card. 100% agree, Jester. There's absolutely no reason to do a money line bet. None whatsoever. He's not going to win a decision or a submission. He's going to win by knockout if he wins. So if you're on him and you want to bet on him, bet by knockout and get the better odds. Dillashaw, Soriano, or Sandhagen, Allen, and DK? Listen, you know where I am. I literally have Dillashaw and Soriano. But Sandhagen, I hate telling people what to do, right? This show is us telling you what we are doing, what we think, our thoughts, and you make your own decisions. So I hate directly answering people's questions like this. But Christian, my personal opinion is Dillashaw and Soriano, but don't come after me if that doesn't hit. And this is why. Allen is hittable and Soriano throws bombs. Thoughts on Rachel beating Van Zandt? Is BKF on the rise? Well, BKF is definitely on the rise with popularity. I just don't know if they make money. Most of these promotions lose money. So I just don't know how long they'll be around because you can't hemorrhage money week after week after week. They pay her absurd money, and it's worked for them because There's eyes. She's lost 2 in a row. I was surprised she lost to Rachel. I really was, because, Paige Van Zandt isn't the most technical anything in the world, but she's crazy tough. She comes forward. I thought she had a very good style for bare knuckle because she's stupid tough and will just throw and keep coming forward. But she's getting touched up and losing these fights. But at the end of the day, she's getting paid, and that's why they do it. So good for her. Thank you, Jill. I agree. Subscribe if you're watching this and hit the bell so you will not miss out on any videos. Especially, here's a quick reason why you should hit the bell. 2 weeks ago, a fight dropped 20 minutes before the card started. I went live at the snap of a finger just to come out here and yell at you and tell you and remind you. When I go live, YouTube loves it. YouTube wants people to go live. So as soon as I go live, YouTube is sending push alerts to your phones, sending emails, and just letting everybody know I went live. So in the case that a fight drops and you don't know about it, I go live as soon as I can, even if it's from my cell phone in a parking lot. So the bell will make sure that you get that notification just in case you locked in your lineup, you thought you were good, you're having a few beers, hanging out outside. I'll go live. You'll get the alert and you'll know. So thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. Same exact logic. Can Dillashaw get a shot at the belt if he wins? Yeah, I think that's literally what they said. Or at least that's what Aljamain Sterling said. If Dillashaw wins, I want to fight him for the title. If Sandhagen wins, I already beat him. I don't think he earned it. So that's coming from the champ's mouth. You'll need this Allen fight on DK. No way. So you're saying Allen will win by stoppage? Is that what you're saying? I don't think so. I think Minner has fixed his cardio issues. He's changed camps about a fight or two ago, and I think any cardio issues he's had are in the past. I mean, he looked pretty good, very active, continues coming forward. So I think Minner wins. Darren Elkins is always live for anything, but you can't be picking fighters based off of Hail Marys. So I think Derek Minner wins that fight, and I don't think he'll have cardio issues. I know you're not hot on Gall, so Williams should win by KO or decision. Probably a decision. I mean, listen, it's not that I'm not. I don't think Mickey Gall would be in the UFC right now. I think, he got into the UFC for extenuating circumstances. They keep putting him out there. I don't know if he'd be in the UFC if it wasn't the CM Punk and stuff like that. So I think if he loses a decision. He is tough. He's got good grappling, so he could win. I just don't see it. Let's see. I didn't watch it either. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier. I think they definitely they're definitely on the rise as far as popularity is concerned, but I don't know how much money they're making. I'm not paying for it. So I just don't know what the live viewership is, honestly. Let's see. Thoughts on Puna Allen monkey knife fight line? I didn't get a chance to do earlier. Well, let's go ahead and show some monkey knife fight. Let's do it. We'll catch up on chat and show monkey knife fight. So let me hide your thing because you're covering up most of the screen. You want to see the Puna Allen line. Let's see. Anybody who doesn't know monkey knife fight, weonpicks.com/MKF. You literally triple your money if you get this right. Where the hell's the Puna Allen fight? Here it is. Let's take a look. 52.5, 40.5. Woo. So listen, if you think Brendan, less is the play. I think less is the play. Yeah, I'm going to do less here because I think Puna Heel will get a stoppage. I think Brendan Allen will bounce around, keep his distance, and then grapple. If you think this goes, I mean, maybe more. If you think this goes like later, and I do think this gets past 1.5 rounds. I have a bet on that. But if you think this goes to the third round, more. If you think this is like first round knockout, second round knockout, probably less. So this is a trick. This is a tricky line. And that's what happens when you get later in the week. The lines move with the money. I'll hold this here and see what the chat thinks about some of these lines. Yeah, Joe, we'll have Joe on in a little bit. We're just getting started here. We'll have Joe on in a little bit. Joe will come on here. I'm assuming you can, Joe. I'm just volunteering you. We'll come on here, talk about the ownership and stuff like that. Let's see. Sterling ain't beating Jan. Yeah, 0% chance. I'll put my life on that. Agreed. Ars 79.5 versus Uhl. We'll just pull it up, boys. Let's just pull it up. Arsen Uhl. Here we go. 79.5, 70. Dead even. Holy crap. Holy. Yeah, that's a tough line. Probably less. Especially because Uhl gasses. So probably less. He will. I'm just sitting tight on it for now. He will. But I will bring him on here to talk about the lines or the projected ownership. I like Belbita. I have that bet on Belbita. I love Belbita. I got in at plus money on Belbita. So, and listen, it's really a pick against Hannah Goldy. No offense to Hannah Goldy, but she's not crazy powerful. She doesn't have great wrestling. She's not great anywhere. She's decent everywhere. She's strong, but doesn't have knockout power. So I just see her getting touched up. Let's see. I'm hoping Allen just makes it past the first. Yeah, I needed to go 1.5 rounds, but and I think it will. Brendan Allen is a veteran at this point in his career. He's got the wrestling. I think he's just gonna be diving at legs and staying on the outside. Knockout Kings on NKF is looking juicy. You hit on Dustin and Sean. Oh yeah. Granted, that was like super easy. Let's pull it up. That was super easy that week because you were positive there was going to be a stoppage in the main event, and you were positive that Sean O'Malley was going to get a stoppage. But this week's a little trickier, but Knockout Kings, it's easy money. That's why the odds are a little lower. It's not a 3-1 because it's pretty easy money. Let's see. KO Kings on MKF is looking juicy. All right, cool. All right, let's look at KO Kings. I think I caught up on chat. If I missed something, send it again. So the way Knockout Kings works, so Monkey Knife Fight, if you don't know, it's daily fantasy. So it is not gambling. It is daily fantasy, which means if you're 18, you can do it. You don't need to be 21. It means you can just deposit on your phone, withdraw on your phone. Super, super easy. Nothing sketchy about it. Almost every single state allows it. You triple your money with every single play. Knockout Kings is new. It's a little different. We pick 3 fighters. 3. And then we decide how much money we want to risk to get back. So let's see. If you think Corey Sandhagen knocks out TJ Dillashaw, let's do this. We'll grab Corey Sandhagen. I think TJ Dillashaw wins, but Knockout Kings is a different animal. This is what I think is probably the safest one. Corey Sandhagen, Randy Costa. Or sorry, not Randy Costa. His opponent. Let's grab. Am I blind? I think I've gone blind. Guys. This is not good. Oh, yeah. I've already played it. And you can't play the you son of a b. I've already played this a bunch. You saw me max out twice. So I can't. Here we go. All right. So Yanez, I can't keep playing the same guy too much. They only let you risk a certain amount. And Punahil. So let's lock that in. 3 of 3. Those are my selections. So now I've picked these 3 fighters. And if I think one knockout happens, I will get 25% net profit. I'll get all my money back plus 25%. If I'm willing to risk that there'll be 2 knockouts or TKOs, then I 2.5 times my money. And if I get all 3, I 6 times my money. That is super risky. This card, I think, too, is actually risky. So I did 1.25 times my money. I did this exact line, and I did I doubled up Yanez. I did Yanez, his Costa, and Punahil. Somebody will get a KO or TKO out of them, and I maxed it out at 25% profit. So that's what I did. Go to mkf.com/wewantpicks or wewantpicks.com/mkf, whichever one you want to do. Sign up, promo code WWP. It would instantly match your deposit, which free money is the best kind of money. Let me put the banner up so you see it. Right there. Right there. See, nice and easy. All right, let's see. Back to the chat. Dan would approve because you're wearing your American Top Team t-shirt that he sent you. Yeah, Dan sent Joe a nice package, and Jesse, Dan owes you a nice little care package as well. He's just been traveling like crazy. I know you guys keep asking, where's Dan? Where's Dan? I mean, we all have real jobs. Dan and I have a wife and kids. So usually our wives don't approve of us sitting on the internet talking to people for hours on end. Gets a little tricky. Bearded Ganja. I'd rather do the 5 times or 8 times than KO Kings. Really? So I totally understand where you're coming from. The problem with, let's pull up a 5X or an 8X. The problem with this, here's a 5X. You need to get 3 right. With KO Kings, I just need to get 1 right. I can get 1 right, 2 wrong. I still made money. Yes, this is a much higher payout, but more risk comes more reward. So I get where you're coming from. You guys know me with my bets. I've been doing really, really well, but I am conservative. It is almost guaranteed money back. That's why I like KO Kings at the 25% return instead of the multiples. How do you feel about Miranda Mav at MVP? What does at MVP mean? Oh, in the boost, Miranda Maverick should win. She absolutely should win. She has more ways to win. She's also a very good striker and can grapple, where Macy Barber mostly striking, not grapple heavy. So Miranda Maverick should absolutely win. And I don't think that's a terrible play, but Barber, her back is against the wall and she may come out here looking fantastic, but I think Miranda Maverick is a safe pick in that slot because I don't know who else you'd put in that slot. Let's see. Yeah, captain, it doesn't matter. Captain in DraftKings, and every app calls it something different. Jesse, I noticed that when a fight card starts early, all prelim fights go past the first round. Only found a handful of fights end in the first round of prelims. What's so interesting about that is if we pulled up stats that factored in the cage, the time of day, all that stuff, I'm sure there's wild, random trends that aren't logical, but numbers don't lie. So that stuff's always pretty interesting. Maverick can rack up volume and takedowns for MVP. Yeah, absolutely. She has the ability to shoot takedowns and do that, where Macy Barber does not. What about if you already bet on those fighters and you already picked more or less on the heads up? I'm not sure I understand the question. What you can do in Monkey Knife Fight is you can play both sides. You can do more and less. So obviously you'll lose one, but because you triple your money, you won't triple it because let's say, all right, $10. I did $10 on the more, $10 on the less. I have $20 I'm risking. A win gets me $30. So I'm going to lose one of those. I'll win. I'll get $30. So I played 20. I win 30. I'm up $10. So you 50% return. Best contest on DK right now is $15 entry. You only play with 4,700 people. Get in before it's gone. Absolutely. Is that a 50-50 or double up, or that's just a full-blown tournament? You guys know me. I love 50-50 or double ups. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you've already done them in head-to-heads. None of that matters. Every single play in Monkey Knife Fight is an independent play, whether you contradict yourself or not. It makes no difference. Barber sounds rejuvenated after moving to alpha male. She may. Yeah, I mean, listen, Macy Barber is taking her career very, very seriously. The loss to what's her name was embarrassing as hell. But she takes her career seriously. And she's a lot more live than people get her credit for, but she definitely, I have Maverick winning. Jill, 20,000 to the first. All right. Well, that's a good amount of money. I've never won that kind of money. And people use Dan's lineup and did win that kind of money. The problem with these early ones is like, I'm going to stop recording, right? I'll be here for a little bit. As long as there's questions, I'll be here. Then I'm going to leave and I'll have a little bit of time to lock in my, play all my lineups. And then fight card starts. And I got little kids. It's a real pain. These early cards, honestly, suck. Let's see. So, guys, let me know what your favorite fight is, which one you're looking forward to the most. I'm definitely really looking forward to the main event. I think this is an awesome main event. It's a real good card, but definitely an awesome main event. 100%. Let's switch back to DraftKings. Honestly, play Monkey Knife Fight. If you have questions, ask me. I'm telling you right now, we have a deal with Monkey Knife Fight, and I know you probably feel like you can't trust me because of that deal. Ask the chat. Every single human being that we have introduced Monkey Knife Fight to has made money. It is impossible not to. You triple your money. It's impossible not to make money. Every single person that we've put onto it has made money. And I'm even seeing in the comments, Dunchichi is one of them, lost money in DraftKings, and now you're only doing Monkey Knife Fight. And it makes sense. It's guaranteed money. We all love DraftKings. I love DraftKings. I make way more money in Monkey Knife than DraftKings. Let's go ahead and switch to DraftKings. See what we got. Let's see what we've got here. All right, DraftKings. Jim from softball, don't be afraid to leave over $1,000 on the table. Yes. Yeah, so it depends what you're talking about. You said less duplicate lineups. So yes, you're talking about the big tournaments. Listen, I'm the biggest advocate on planet Earth for 50-50s and double ups. You know that I am. That is the easiest money you'll ever make in DraftKings. Easiest money you'll ever make is Monkey Knife Fights. In DraftKings, 50-50s and double ups. If you are doing tournaments, the entire strategy is to pick different lineups. So you need some big time underdogs to make that happen in the big time tournaments. What's up, Angelo? The fight that worries me the most is Reed versus Eubanks. I have Reed in most of my DK lineups. I have Reed as well. So I'm on Elise Reed. It's less of a pick for Elise, meaning I'm not saying Elise is the greatest fighter of all time. It is more of a pick against Sijara Eubanks' cardio. Sijara Eubanks has trash cardio, and nobody can argue that. Now she's even coming down in weight. It'll only make her cardio worse. It's not going to get better. Her cardio will only get worse. If you watched her season of The Ultimate Fighter, they had to cut her hair to make that weight. She was crying, wanted to quit, all of that. She went out there, but she wanted to quit, cried, all that nonsense. The older you get, the harder it is to cut weight. Already has cardio issues. I have Elise Reed, and I'm not going to go on and on about how great Elise Reed is. It's just Sijara Eubanks, very good fighter, much better than her record, but has no cardio at all, and a weight cut is not going to help that, or a weight class drop. Let's see. Mickey, first round KO, 2,200. Seeing those numbers is very enticing, right? 20 plus 2,200 is a very enticing number. But it's that number for a reason. Yeah, thanks, Jill. And I'm glad. Listen, at the end of the day, it's tricky, right? Because we're trying to make money. Yes, we do this all for free, but the reason it's free for you guys, other than the members, and we genuinely appreciate the support, but the reason we're able to do this for free for you is because of our affiliate deals. So we do push their stuff, but we only push Monkey Knife Fights because we were doing it, making a ton of money, and said, there's a deal here to be made. Same with our deal with Bet Online, weonpicks.com/bets. We use Bet Online exclusively. They have the best props. They're out the earliest, and they have very unique ones. So Yeah, we do push this stuff because that's literally how we can afford to do this show. We have about $200 worth of monthly expenses to run the show, and then not including the thousands of dollars in equipment and all that crap, and the 30, 40 hours a week that we put in. So I do push it hard. Hopefully it doesn't come across like a used car salesman, because everything we say is very genuine, regardless of whatever affiliate deals we've got signed up. Let's look at Belbita versus Goldy in monkey knife fight. Yeah, give me 1 minute. We'll pull it up shortly after. Check out Bilal Muhammad on Instagram. He's 91% on his main card picks. Cool. Good tip. Joe Todoro. I'll usually play one lineup in big GPPs, mostly from talking with Angelo and Dan. I'll do 50-50 double ups and cover. I mean, 50-50 and double ups is the only guarantee, not guarantee. It's the shortest path to money. So I don't even bother with the big tournaments anymore. But what Dan started doing after I was like, dude, is he uses 50-50s and double ups to basically fund his big tournament plays. Yeah, thank you, Alexandre. I mean, you triple your money. I don't know how they make money, because I only know people who win. Even if you have a bad week, it's still not awful because you triple with all your wins. So I don't know how they make money. They're owned by Bally's. So making money might not honestly be a priority for them because they're owned by a giant corporation. Dunchichi. I'm all in MKF. Easiest money I ever made, to be honest. And I was really skeptical at first. Yeah. Thank you guys for supporting me and for putting that out there, because I don't want to come across like a used car salesman. I really don't. It's just great. It's the easiest thing in the world. What's really cool about it too is you can play it during the fights. Obviously, once a fight starts, that's it. But if you feel like I think it was Jesse or Joe. Yeah, it was Jesse mentioned it earlier that these early cards, all the fights seem to be going past the first round. It's just a trend he's noticed. Monkey knife fight, unlike DraftKings where you lock your lineup in and that's it for the next 12 hours or whatever, monkey knife fight, you can play before the fight. So if you feel like the first 3 fights, or you see that these fights are all going to a decision, or everybody's coming out there guns blazing, knockout after knockout after knockout, you can hop into monkey knife fight and do less, more. If there's a close line and you just you get a feel for the event and the energy, you can play it during the card. I now only play the We Want Picks DraftKings contest. You're just chasing that $15. If you're a member, click the join button. I will send you 30. There are people in this chat that I have literally sent money to. So I Venmo you $30. And if you have Cash App, I'll do that too, whatever it is. You missed weigh-ins. Did anyone have trouble on the scales? I didn't see anybody, nobody missed. It didn't seem too dramatic. A lot of people are saying Kyler Phillips did not look great. I didn't see it, though. I also missed it. Everyone made weight, though. Yeah, thanks, Jim. Appreciate it. WeWantPicks.com has everything. Our bets, our free DraftKings league where we just give away money for the hell of it. And by for the hell of it, I mean to try to grow the channel. And monkey knife fights. I joined last card, finished 11th. That's first place twice. Yeah, good for you. Oh, so I owe you $60. All right, let me pull up monkey knife fight. I forget what line you wanted to see, but I'll pull it up and we will show that line. Any questions, guys? Let me know. I'm happy to walk through bets as well. Actually, let me walk through bets because I haven't talked about those. I'll walk through my bets and then we'll pull up monkey knife fight. It is a stupid name. You don't forget it, but damn, is that a stupid name. All right, let me take a drink. That's crazy. Because monkey knife fight, promo code WWP, they'll instantly match your deposit up to 100. You got a free 5 out of that. Good for you. All right, let's take a look at the bets. Actually, I don't even think it was Aspen Ladd who dropped. I think it was her opponent who had the injury. Chasson. But that fight did drop, and it was her opponent. It was an injury, and I think it was her opponent. So I'm just going to walk through my bets real quick. If you don't want to hear them, you want DraftKings, Monkey Knife Fights, let me know. But let me just walk through these real quick. I have TJ Dillashaw money line. We talked about it earlier. I understand he's off the juice. I don't think there's going to be a giant drop off in his volume, definitely not in his abilities. So it really just come down to how affected will his cardio be when he's not in the sauce. I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. So I have TJ Dillashaw, and if there's not a drop off in his cardio, he's definitely the better wrestler, definitely has better footwork. You can argue power. So, and definitely experience. So I have TJ Dillashaw plus 150. I have Belbita. This is more of a pick against. Same with Elise Reed. These are picks against their opponents. No offense to Hannah Goldy, but she doesn't have knockout power. She doesn't have great wrestling. She just sort of pepper. And Diana Belbita is a legitimately good fighter. So I have Belbita plus 110. Elise Reed. This is not even a pick against Sijara. I'm not saying Sijara sucks. I'm saying Sijara has horrible cardio and she's coming down in weight class. That cardio is only going to get worse. If Sijara Eubanks does not have cardio issues today, I will be shocked. Absolutely shocked. So the Elise Reed bet, only a half a unit, I'm betting against Sijara's cardio for cutting an extra weight class here. And then I have a couple props. I have Castellanes over 1.5 rounds. These guys, it's going to be a firefight. It's going to be a really fun fight. I do like over on these super low rounds. So I have that at minus 120. I have Alan Soriano over 1.5 rounds. The only reason I put a half a unit on that is because I think, Soriano could knock him out in 5 seconds. So the guy hits like a truck, but I do think it'll go over 1.5 rounds because Allen is going to try to avoid those punches. He's going to try to wrestle, try to shoot. And I think he'll take his time and stay away. And then my next prop is eventually I think Soriano will probably catch up to him and catch him. So I just put a half a unit flyer on that. And then finally I have Raulin Paiva wins inside the distance, decision, no action. This is an insurance bet. If Paiva beats Kyler Phillips, anything other than a decision, I get my money back. Or sorry, I get plus 160. If it goes to the judge's scorecard, I get my money back. I get a refund. No skin off my back. The only way I could lose money with this bet is if Kyler Phillips puts Paiva away, if he gets a stoppage. That's the only way I lose money. And I don't see that happening. I think Kyler Phillips probably wins a decision, but Paiva's live for a submission or a knockout. So I really like that bet. You're only going to get that at WeWantPicks.com/bets. That's the only place you're going to get these prop bets like this. Let's see. Catching up on some chat. Goldy looked absolutely jacked on the scales. Belbita's padded. Yeah, Belbita's resume is absolutely padded. Hannah Goldy is jacked out of her mind, strong. But as far as a fight is concerned, she's not getting finishes. She's not submitting anybody. She's not knocking anybody out. And Belbita is busy, active, will be bigger because although jacked, Hannah is short. Well, and you know what, Jester? I'm not even necessarily betting against Kyler because I do think the most likely outcome here is that Kyler Phillips wins a decision. And if that happens, I get my money back. No issues for me. Literally, I get my money back. So that bet is just protecting me if there is a stoppage. That's all that's doing. Okay. Let's take a look at Danny Boys. Sorry, I'm logging in on something on another screen. What the heck is going on here? My computer is struggling. Here's Dan's bets. He has Derek Minner money line minus 145. Derek's relentless wrestling, come forward wrestling. He has beating the veteran Darren Elkins at minus 145. He has Jordan Williams at minus 170. Dan has no faith in Andre Ewell, in his cardio, in any of that. No faith whatsoever. So I'm doing something on my other screen. Like, what the heck is the problem? Let's see. Okay. Then he has Paiva at plus 240. So that's straight up money line. And then if you scroll down, he has under 2.5 rounds. So he thinks Paiva gets a stoppage in under 2.5 rounds, which I don't know how I feel about that one. And then he has Ian Heinisch at minus 170. That's probably a pretty good bet there. I imagine that gets done. Okay. We're not getting alerts. That's what I'm looking at my other screen. Alerts are just not happening, and I don't know why. I'm going to test an alert real quick. Let's test for new subscribers. Okay. All right. So the test works. We want picks just subscribed. Oh, I subscribed to my own channel. All right. Then he has Derek Minner wins by submission. That one is an absolute flyer. That's why he only has a quarter of a unit. I just don't see that happen. I just do not see that happening. Absolutely not. Phillips Paiva under 2.5 rounds. I just mentioned that. Sandhagen Dillashaw over 2.5 rounds. That is my favorite bet that Dan has. Absolutely my favorite bet. And Jester, Dan killed it last week. He 100% killed it last week. 100% killed it. And a lot of it was that Bellator bet that we threw up that video for. Bellator, listen, there's money to be made in UFC, and we make money pretty much every single week in UFC for everything we do. Bellator, those lines are a mess. They do a bad job with those lines, like genuinely a bad job with those lines. And Dan trains an American Top Team, sees how well some of these guys are doing, and then bets on him to win in Bellator and makes a ton of money. So last week he gave you that fight, and I think you did really well. Joe Jadora, Goldy will always be jacked, but the only bad thing about being jacked is that if you overdo yourself, there's a lot of blood. Yep. Your muscles get super tired. Alexandre, you're a smart guy, Angelo. You know how to do it, but be safe. Yeah, I'm very conservative with my bets. Very conservative. Dan takes bigger chances. Dan will bet, the stoppage in 3 different rounds, stuff like that. I go, what's the most likely outcome? And then I find the odds that will get me there. Let's see. And I don't do big minus fights because I don't want to risk double my money to win just a little bit back. That insurance bet is a sweet deal. If Paiva gets the upset by finish, I'm golden. Absolutely. And if it goes through a decision, it's okay. I got a refund. No big deal. I did that on Chase Hooper because I was like, Chase Hooper is submission or bust. He's a tough dude, so I don't see him getting stopped, but he's submission or bust. He lost a decision. I got a refund. No big deal. No big show goes on. TJ Sandhagen over 2.5 is solid. I love that one for Dan's, honestly. GG1992, Jacob is hilarious. I appreciate that comment. And the reason I do is Jacob got flack this week. I literally deleted a few comments. So for the most part, I'll leave comments. And this week I've been arguing with strangers about stupid crap. But anytime it's like a personal attack or a nasty comment for no reason, I delete it. Somebody wrote like 2 paragraphs about why Jacob shouldn't be on the show and he sucks and nobody is here for the clowning. They're just here for the picks. Then don't watch. Honestly, don't watch. If you don't like what we do, don't watch. To take the time to write a whole thing, oh, Jacob's a clown. That's literally the role Jacob is playing. He comes on, he has fun. He's got good insight. I mean, he does his actual research. He has good insight. He's not always spot on, but honestly, what do you expect? Not everybody can be like Dan or myself. That's just impossible. We've spent the last 20 years in this sport. So I appreciate this, that you reached out. You took the time to say you like Jacob because, he's my actual friend in real life and he is funny. And that's the freaking point of having Jacob on the show is that he's funny and he adds a looser. You want us to just sit here like robots and this is our pick. So the people hating on Jacob for being funny and joking about Ryan Hall being a great, I don't get it. I don't get how you could be upset at that. Let's show some love for Jacob. He's a nice guy for real. He made good picks most of the time. I agree. I appreciate this Jacob Love Fest. And nobody's meaner to Jacob than me. You guys don't see our text messages. I pretty much make that kid cry. So I appreciate the the comments. And thanks again. This is the best UFC channel on YouTube. Keep it up. I appreciate that. We're chugging along. We're growing pretty quickly. And, if you guys have suggestions, let me know. If there's something that we could add, something we can do to make it better, absolutely. Every intro is, this is the only channel run by blah, blah, blah. Me, Nick, Dan, Jacob. Nick is promoting his movie. Nick will be back soon. He's promoting his movie and moving homes. So he will be back soon, I promise you. And Danny Boy had a ridiculous, him and I both have real jobs. So does Jacob, but him and I have like real jobs. We have to travel for work. And he just got a big time promotion. So he's done a ton of traveling, but he will be, he'll be back this week. He has no travel. So I enjoy what the fuck? He will be back this week. And I was reading this while I was saying that. I enjoy Jacob. F that little B runs his mouth. I agree. I mean, the kid sucks. But to say he's not funny on the show, here we go. Jacob's going to appreciate this. Jacob doesn't even know the nasty comments because I delete them. I'm trying to hurt the kid's feelings. So I delete the comments before he sees them. I don't need him falling into a hole of depression. So, questions about the fights, let me know. It is 1:30 Central Time. The fights kick off at 3. We have an hour and a half. I am here with you, which means I'm not monitoring everything. If there is a drop, let me know in the chat so we can blast this out there and everybody gets on the same page. Last time I was able to do one of these streams, 2 seconds after I ended the stream, a fight dropped and I had to come right back on to do it. All right, let's see. This should be all set up nice. Let me know what fight you're most looking forward to. I said the main event, but I also am super, super curious about that Miranda Maverick Macy Barber fight. I really am interested to see how that fight goes. Like genuinely interested to see what happens there. See if Macy Barber can bounce back, if she's the real deal, or if this was just a whole bunch of hype going nowhere. And Joey, we'll have you on a little bit. Let's say in 20 minutes. Does that work for you? Joe will come on. Joe, sorry, I'm texting my babysitter because we're going out tonight. Joe will come on. Joe will walk through the projected ownership in DraftKings. So let's say 10, 15 minutes, Joey. I'll send you a link and you can hop on. Jacob was funny as hell, even though we have fun joke around rivalries, future matchup. I forget who got. Yeah, I don't know where that joke came from either. I forget. Shame on whoever's slandering our man. This is the problem, man. We're growing like crazy, which is great. There's 50 people watching this right now. That is way more than we normally get. And that's so appreciated. We put so much freaking time into this thing. But when you grow, not everybody's going to be as great as the OGs. GG, you have great mix of perspectives. An MMA manager and wrestling coach, 2 former UFC competitors, and a regular guy with a great sense of humor. Thank you. That is literally our exact dynamic. Jacob is it's regular guy that does a lot. He does his research. And then the rest of us have different perspectives. We do keep breaking Dan's balls. I'll answer this in 1 second. We do keep breaking Dan's balls because he hasn't been able to do the big breakdown with us the last 2 weeks. And I was like, dude, our videos went from 2 hours to 1 hour without you. You're going on and on about this and the step in jab. So we do break his balls, but I mean, he's got legit technical insight because he was fighting was his actual career and life forever. And then Jared, it's the best UFC channel, finally catching you live. Appreciate all the content. Thank you, Jared. Anybody watching, click subscribe. There should be alerts on the screen. I know you guys are subscribing right now, and there should be alerts, and they're not popping up. So I don't know what the shkuvats is going on. And if you're not from the Northeast, you don't know what shkuvats means. It enables all alerts to be. I don't know what the problem is. Send these damn alerts. I don't know why the alerts aren't coming. There's one. Jesse bought a hat. Congratulations, Jesse. It's this hat. This is the dad hat. Thanks, Jesse. Okay. That alert worked. So for some reason, just the other ones are turned off. But either way, catch up on some chat. I am excited for this card as well, Chris. The problem is, am I going to get to watch it? Freaking early in the day. Hilario. I love Jacob, but I don't think Mickey Gall is going to pull this off. I don't either. I absolutely do not think Mickey Gall will win this fight. He certainly can with his grappling. I just don't think he will. So you think Miranda Maverick just absolutely steamrolls Barber, and that's a very possible outcome. Yeah, we got the hat alert finally. The other alerts are not coming through. What do you think about the girl fights not finishing? So it's tricky. Let me break down the two girl fights. The Sijara Eubanks Elise Reed fight. It's either Sijara Eubanks keeps her cardio and beats the breaks off Elise Reed and might get a stoppage, or Elise Reed wins a decision because Sijara Eubanks gasses. That's a hard one. Maverick over Barber. Maverick could beat Barber by stoppage. I could see that. I could see that fight ending by stoppage. So if you want to do the under on 2.5 rounds, I don't think that's a crazy one. I do think that'll be a firefight. I think those two are going to go at it. Yep, I don't see it either. It's so funny because the Puna versus Allen fight, if Brendan Allen wins, it's like, of course he won. Dominant wrestler. Of course Brendan Allen won. He wasn't going to lose to a striker. And then if Puna Heel wins, it's like, yeah, obviously, dude hits like a truck. So no matter what that outcome is, it's going to be so obvious that was the outcome. I do flip-flop on that because Brendan Allen, legit veteran, very good wrestler. Puna Heel does have some wrestling and hits like a Mack truck. You have Barber here. Barber, you're the first person I've seen picking Barber. And you know what? I have this weird feeling that Barber's going to win, but my brain's got to go with Maverick. But I didn't touch it in DraftKings. Danny did. I did not touch it in DraftKings. Don't forget to like the stream. Thank you very much, CCTV. Very, very appreciated. I just saw a comment that I forgot to pin. Oh, the Imavov one. I keep missing it. There it is. I think Imavov is going to surprise people. He absolutely might. I mean, Nasruddin Imavov is very good. I think everybody is on, and I didn't touch this fight in DraftKings either because this is a super close one. Most of these, this might be the most evenly matched card of the year. I can't think of another card where every single fight could have gone either way. I really can't. This is another one. So, first of all, if you didn't see Jacob's breakdown of the hell is his name? Of Ian Heinish's story, watch that video. It's unbelievable. The dude went to jail for trafficking drugs and a crazy backstory Ian Heinisch has. But Ian Heinisch is a pretty good grappler. Nasruddin Imavov is a good grappler. I think Ian Heinisch's grappling is better, and that will be the difference here. But it will be that will be an interesting fight for sure. I love the way Imavov looked in face-offs. He's so much bigger than Heinisch. He is huge. He is huge, and he's very, very good. I didn't touch that in DraftKings because I think Nasruddin is very live, and that's a very close fight. You and Jacob are matched with the other. Angelo's face expression. Yeah, he like legit annoys the hell out of me. So, like, if he interrupts me, that's why I just deadpan the camera because I'm just so annoyed when he does that. Barber, this is Macy, has an 88% finish rate. Think Maverick puts her away. Yeah, it'd be crazy. Thank you very much, CC. Puna's wrestling is underrated. He does have legitimate wrestling. That's why I have a bet. Bang, bang, right here. I have a bet on Puna Heel to win by KO, TKO, because he does have wrestling. So it's not like he's just going to be on his back flopping like a fish. He can defend some of those takedowns and stand up. So it's not crazy that he would lose a decision on his back, but he absolutely has the ability to defend takedowns and get a knockout. I think Heinisch can get some good FanDuel points from takedown defense. Yeah, that is. So FanDuel and Monkey Knife Fight use the same scoring system. So I'm probably going to hit up a Monkey Knife Fight line to on the fantasy points, because I completely agree. Defending takedowns it's like 3 points or something. That's a lot of points. Soriano does have wrestling. He is a wrestler. He does have wrestling. He doesn't need it because his hands do what they do, but he does have wrestling. I think I'm going to copy that Soriano KO prop bet. Go for it at buyer beware. I always say this is just what we are doing with our money. I'm not telling you what to do. So don't hold me accountable unless you win. Then send us a tip. Are you as hot as Jacob on Phillips? No, I am not. I did put Phillips in my lineup. That is only because Aspen Ladd dropped and Kyler Phillips was the only person like that I had confidence in. I am not as high. I think Paiva, and check my bets, I have Paiva wins inside the distance, decision, no accident. So I think Paiva is very live for a knockout or a submission, but the most likely outcome for that fight is Kyler Phillips wins the decision. So I have him in my DraftKings lineup because there'll be some takedowns in there, some control time in there that'll score me some points. But I did put a bet. So if Paiva knocks out or submits Kyler Phillips, I get paid. If he doesn't and loses a decision, I get a refund. Bet never happened. So I am not as high as Jacob is on Kyler Phillips at all. And what's funny about that, the reason Jacob's so high on him, well, Kyler Phillips was Jacob's lock of the week in his last fight, and it worked out. Kyler Phillips won. But Jacob, we did that video, and Kyler Phillips' brother reached out to Jacob, and they were like messaging all weekend and stuff. So now he's like bought in for life on Kyler Phillips. I just missed another one. Where is it? Jill, Barber puts Robertson away. Maverick couldn't do it. True. Soriano has 100% takedown defense. Yeah, Brendan Allen's the best wrestler he's going to fight, though, or that he has fought. So, yeah, he does have good takedown defense. That's what makes him the legitimate threat that he is. That's why on Monkey Knife Fight in Knockout Kings, I have him there, and it's almost a guarantee that somebody will get it. Chris V, Barber tore her ACL and isn't the same fighter. Thanks to Tammy Time explaining. No problem, Alexandre. That's what we do. That's the channel. All right, Joey. Let me send you a link. Joe will come on. Joe will do expected ownership. If you're even still here, there you are. Barber will have boxing power over Maverick, but I see Maverick is more. Yeah, Maverick has more ways to win. And you know, guys, when I pick fighters, I do style make fights and who has more ways to win. In this case, they're both strikers, except Maverick also has wrestling. Take Phillips out and put Williams in, Angelo. I would take Gall as an opponent over Paiva. That's funny because that's what I did with my lineup a few weeks ago. I played against the opponents. That fight dropped, so it didn't matter. But against an opponent does make more sense. And you're right. Mickey Gall is not nearly as good as Paiva. I think Maverick is overlooking Barber, and Barber's at alpha male now fighting those little guys. You know, that's a legit camp. She takes her career very seriously, and that is a concern. Yes, it was. And then he had a 2-year layoff for drugs. So, okay, I'm sending Jesse Facebook, I guess. I'm sending you the link if you want to come on, talk through the ownership, who's the highest owned, lowest owned, all of that sheboygan. Hold on. Hopefully I'm not skipping. I have a 2017 MacBook. I have pushed this thing to the absolute max. I'm just waiting for the new one to come out. Come on. Holy crap. It's not even loading Facebook. Here we go. Facebook message to you, Joey. All right, Joe, if you want to hop on, you can. I just sent you a link. Anybody else? Any other members? If you're a member, you click the join button below this video and you want to join this live stream, you can. Joey is going to be on here in a minute talking about ownership, DraftKings ownership, values, and all of that. Brent Hinson, great card for 50-50s and double ups. I've entered all the lineups you guys made this week in multiple contests. Let's go. You know me, 50-50s and double ups are the thing. Jesse, yeah, we got to have you on here, man. You're such a great supporter of the channel. TJ's chin is suspect. Corey may be the most powerful striker in the division, but he's clearly the best all-around striker. Yeah, so the chin is suspect. With that being said, 2-year layoff can do a lot of very good things for your chin. Absolutely. So we'll see. I mean, that fight is super interesting. And yes, Jesse, you absolutely need to come on. I sent you the link on Facebook Messenger. Yeah, I mean, but listen, you guys are right. And I'm not going to die on this hill saying that without a shadow of a doubt, TJ Dillashaw. The wrestling of TJ Dillashaw, it matters. It matters. It absolutely matters. His footwork and his wrestling is a thing, and it matters. Stevie, appreciate it. Hopefully use the promo code, got yourself some free money. If you didn't do any picks or anything, we'll do that in a minute. We're going to do DraftKings ownership right now, but we will do Monkey Knife Fight picks in a minute. Do knock out Kings. Do knock out Kings. Grab yourself. Oh, Jesus. What is his name? Yanez, Soriano, and if you want, you can do Costa or Sandhagen. Do the one knockout payout. You'll 25% profit on that. Guaranteed. You're going Sandman everywhere. It's funny that you would think TJ by submission, because I actually would think Sandhagen probably has the better raw jiu-jitsu. Like, I guess maybe not. Man, that's funny. All right, let's see. Waiting for Joey to come on to do ownership. Any other questions, let me know. Joey's going to come on here. He'll do DraftKings ownership. So anybody that does the far projections or the GPPs, the big tournaments, he'll walk you through that. Let me check my text messages, see that bum Jake or Dan is going to join us. He said he would, but who the hell knows? Let's see. I'm reading a tweet about Glover. So Glover Teixeira is our actual personal friend. Dan and I know him incredibly well. He was in Dan's wedding. Reading a tweet about his pay-per-view, UFC 267. Glover's fighting for the belt. It'll be October 30th in Abu Dhabi versus Jan Blachowicz. The event is going to a non-pay-per-view event. It'll be free. Holy crap, that's shocking. Very shocking. Dan is probably going to go to Abu Dhabi to watch that fight. I mean, like I said, Glover was in his wedding there. I mean, I'm friends with Glover, but not in his wedding. We got picks. We want picks. Oh, the promo code is WWP, if that's what you're asking. Let's see. I don't know. Joe, what's going on, man? Where are you at? So, I don't even know how to say that. Sandhagen by TKO. So, you think it's standing TKO? Meaning you think he just touches up TJ Dillashaw? His wrestling footwork doesn't matter. He gets to TJ's chin and just gets that done. Is that your thought? I do wish it was in Vegas because I would have gone. I'm not going to Abu Dhabi. Not happening. Let's see. Waiting for Joey to join. Any questions, let me know. I told you my favorite fight of the night is definitely the main event, and then right after that is Maverick versus Barber. No, you are not in. I don't see you. Let's see. Joe messaged me saying, "Am I in?" You're not. Copy the link. Send it again. Because you definitely, I don't see you in my little lobby, which is where I should see you. All right, guys, let me know. Oh, there you are, Joe. All right. So we're going to do ownership.
Yo, what's going on, everyone?
Welcome. How are you?
Good, I'm doing good.
Watching, Joe Todoro is a member of the channel, a subscriber of the channel. And last time he came on here, because we just let him come on for no reason, just to chat with you guys. And he walked through DraftKings projected ownerships because he have access to that system. And you guys wanted to come back and do it again. So here he is. So, Joe, how you doing?
Doing good, brother. How you doing, man?
Good.
Just enjoying this weekend.
Good. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting card for sure. So why don't you walk through the projected ownerships?
Okay. So if anyone wants to know, I'm probably going to start from top to bottom for a main event all the way down to the main card. Let me get the paperwork ready. Okay, so if you are on the Sandman side.
And while you're pulling that up, so Jesse, you asked if we're live betting today. I won't be. This card is early, and my kids are going to be awake, running around. I can't focus on that until those kids are asleep. So the normal card is when I can do that. I'm sorry, Joe. Go ahead, buddy.
Okay, you're good, brother. So whoever's on the Sandman side, if you're playing like big GPP or core, from the ownership I'm looking at, he's going to at least be in the 50s of percentage on. And it's for DraftKings. I don't know about FanDuel.
50% ownership?
Okay, I see for both. So for DraftKings, they have him at 52. And for FanDuel, they have Sandhagen at 55.
Wow, okay.
If you're on the underdog side, like me and Angelo are, which I think Dillashaw is going to ragdoll him in the wrestling game. You saw what Aljamain Sterling did, and Dillashaw is the better wrestler. Dillashaw is currently at 34% on DraftKings and 32% on FanDuel.
Wow, okay.
So the next
it's interesting that the FanDuel and the DraftKings ownerships, they're pretty close, but it'd be I don't know why they would be different.
Because I know for pricing, they don't go by DraftKings like 9,300, 9,500. They go by like actual dollar price.
That makes sense. Yeah, keep going. Just work your way down the card.
Here. Okay. Next is Kyler Phillips versus Pava or Pava, whatever the hell his name is. Kyler Phillips for DraftKings currently at 26%, and for FanDuel he's at 25%.
Okay.
For Pava, not a bad punt play if you're playing, in big GPPs. If you think that he can really pull off the upset of Phillips, you'll be getting a discount on ownership at 16% on both DraftKings and FanDuel. So that's a big discount.
That is a big discount.
Okay. Like I said, guys, I got my other screen open. So if you have any other questions about ownership, about fights,
I will walk through all of them. Honestly, just keep going.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, hold on. While you're doing that, let's check some. Somebody asked about Williams ownership. If you want to pull that up.
Okay. Well, Jordan Williams, they have him at 31% on DraftKings, and for FanDuel, they have him at 36%.
Steve, what didn't work with the promo code? Literally just WWP when you do your deposit, and they'll just instantly match your deposit. You put in 20, they give you 20. You put in 100, they give you 100. X Kilo XL pricing is different and scoring is different. FanDuel prioritizes striking and finishes with DK and doesn't count control time. And you know what FanDuel does do that I like is takedown defense. So defended takedowns are a few points, which I absolutely love.
Okay.
And then JP is asking you where you get your stats, Joey.
So my cousin, he follows a group called like the DFS Army. They do all, main coverage of sports. They do like percentage wise, they break down for each sport. I don't really necessarily use it except for like UFC. I want to see what the possible field is thinking whenever I do throw a line in GPP. But since Angelo and Dan actually talked me down from not, breaking my bank and big GPPs, I'm more of a single entry now. I play more 50-50s, double ups, and majority of the time you can beat majority of those fools in 50-50s and double ups.
That's the biggest thing I ever say. So first, Aaron, let me answer your question. What does ownership mean? So yeah, when you do these big tournaments, you basically need the best 6 fighters, and you need to be different than everybody else, so you're not splitting the winnings. So ownership just gives you an idea of how many people will have a specific fighter in their DraftKings lineup. So it really only pertains to DraftKings and FanDuel. And then the 50-50 and double up, anybody that watches this channel and subscribes to this channel, you will be better than most people. And I'm not saying that like, oh, we're the best. I'm saying that because that means you care enough to put in time. You care enough to do your research. You care enough to try to build a great lineup. Thanks, you hella fat doinks. Appreciate it. You care enough to do time, effort, and research. And in those 50-50 and double ups, you only have to be better than half the people, which is very, very possible. So, all right, Joey, keep going.
Okay, next fight is the Darren Elkins versus Derek Minner. I know majority of people are on Derek Minner, but I'm on Darren Elkins. I think he has the slight cardio. He has the better striking. You're not going to finish him. You know, the last time someone actually finished him by sub was by Oliveira when he first came into the UFC. And I just think this is an Elkins type of matchup where he could win. So if you want to get different, like me, I'm going Elkins, but the ownership is somewhat close because I guess people see it as a closer fight. Like Derek Minner is at 31% on DraftKings, 36 on FanDuel, while Elkins is at 25 on both DraftKings and FanDuel.
Okay. Sean V said he's also on Darren Elkins. And real quick, oh my gosh, asked about ownership. So again, ownership is when we're talking about DraftKings and FanDuel, where ownership is the projected amount of people that will have a specific fighter drafted. So Joe told us that Sandhagen's like 50%. So that means 50% of people building lineups will have Sandhagen in their lineup. Just now you said Elkins is 20-something percent. So that means Darren Elkins will only be in 20-something percent of people's lineups. And that does two things. One, it gives you an idea of how confident everybody else is in a fighter. And two, if you're trying to build a lineup that's different and unique, you want to avoid the 80, 90, 100% ownership guys.
He's correct on that. He's correct. So the next matchup is Miranda Maverick versus Macy Barber. I was torn on this fight, but I think this is Macy Barber's first training camp with Uriah Faber. So
I believe so. She switched. I didn't touch this fight anyway.
I didn't because I got more Maverick. I'll have one GPP line with Maverick because I said she's more well-rounded. I think she can get Macy to the ground, control her with some control time, maybe get her with some ground and pound. And who knows, maybe she'll catch her with a submission because she does have 7 finishes. Its ownership is close for that fight because people are kind of torn on it for DraftKings because the prices of 84 and 78. So Maverick's at 22% on DraftKings, while she's 25 on FanDuel. And Macy Barber on DraftKings is 22%, and she's 26% on FanDuel. So most fans for ownership are trying to think they don't know what they'll do with that fight, but it's kind of almost like a pick 'em.
Yeah. That makes sense. It does feel that way.
Mm-hmm. I think anything could happen in that fight. If Maverick decides to prove that she's like, you know what, I can strike with her, strike per strike. Whoever's playing Maverick, hold your breath. Because Macy does have a hard hand where she can clock her and who knows what could happen. I'll give her that. She definitely has the boxing advantage in that fight.
Yeah, she's the better pure boxer for sure. Miranda Maverick has grappling, though. So, they both have striking, and then Miranda Maverick has a backup plan. I imagine that alpha male, Macy Barber, working that takedown defense, working her own takedown offense, but takes more than one camp to lock that in.
Oh, yes. Like, I heard that she was working with Faber a lot. She was working with Faber and former UFC fighter Dan Castillo a lot for this fight, for movement, working her 1-2s, maybe throwing uppercuts in when Maverick does shoot for a double leg or a body clinch. So who knows if maybe we'll see Macy just move around a lot more and it could be just a chase around kind of fight.
Yep. Makes sense.
Okay. Next fight is the Mickey Gall versus Jordan Williams. I think Mickey Gall's a joke. That's where I'll just get off with that. I think he's a big-time joke. He got famous for calling out a wrestler. And, come on, I even tried my call out for CM Punk, and, of course it didn't get answered. But
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Mickey Gall can grapple. He
Yes, he's a
definitely
good
can
grappler.
grapple. But it's funny because he's a very good grappler, and he's from Pennsylvania, but he doesn't have that nasty Pennsylvania wrestling.
Nope.
And that's the difference there. If he had Pennsylvania wrestling, and if you guys don't know, I mean, Pennsylvania is one of the best wrestling states in the country.
Indeed.
Them or Jersey. It's a
Yes, sir.
Jersey either way. But if he doesn't have that wrestling, so he can't really force this to the ground. If it gets there, he should absolutely win, but he can't force it there.
I guess this fight
is saying Faber will be in Macy Barber's corner.
Oh, that's smart because that is her, her new coach now. So the encouragement will help Macy, and Uriah is pretty wise as a coach. I'll give him credit for that. So now I mentioned earlier about Jordan Williams, but I'll get back to it. So Jordan Williams they're considering him as the favorite, but I'm a bit worried to see how his cardio actually looks since this is his first fight at 170. So I wouldn't be shocked if he's a bit on the slower side of this fight, so he didn't try to overdo himself. Because in his previous fights, he likes to open his wide, open the good power hands, go forward. And this fight, he's got to be careful because I hate to say it, Mickey Gall can get a body clinch, jump on the back, and work towards a choke, which he's done in previous fights.
Yep.
But
no, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say we have a question about Julio Arce. So I was just real quick.
Okay.
So Julio Arce, the couple questions here, right? It's a 2-year layoff for him too. So he hasn't fought in a long time. He's a really high volume guy, which is good, especially fighting Andre Uhl, who has cardio issues. But Julio Arce is a high volume guy. He's got pretty good striking defense. He's a very good striking offense. He uses his hands, his feet. He moves really well. And he doesn't really get hit because he has such solid movement. He doesn't get touched up. He's got good cardio, and I think he dominates this fight, honestly, because Andre Uhl does not have good cardio. Julio Arce will just be busy, never where Andre Uhl thinks he's going to be, and I think he's going to burn out a win there. And honestly, I just talked myself into maybe I make a change in my lineup to see if I could squeeze Arce in there. But I like Julio Arce in this fight quite a bit.
I agree. I do like Arce as well. The 2-year layoff is a bit concerning, but from everything I'm reading from other odds, they really think Andre Uhl is going to win this fight by a decision.
Love Andre Uhl in this fight, and he's freaking massive, absolutely massive. That's why he has cardio issues, but he could also be very physically imposing because of that.
I think Arce is going to come in, get a slow approach, but I think he's going to work the leg kicks from, if you watch Uhl's last fights, once he gets the leg kicks on him, he doesn't really check them, and he slows down in his strikes. And then Arce does have the better striking, the better pure boxer, and Uhl has been shown in this fight that he can get taken down.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it will be that'll be an interesting matchup. I think Arce should definitely win, and I'm picking him to win because I think he can win and because Andre Uhl has trash cardio. But Elise Reed, for example, I'm basically picking Elise Reed because Sijara Eubanks has trash cardio.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Jessica Haya, 15 years, diabetes like Williams. I know what it takes to keep your sugars levels, and what I've seen he is on, he shouldn't have a problem. I imagine he's gotten to this point in his career knowing how to manage that. Certainly it can't be easy, but you just have to, when you do picks and breakdowns, you have to assume people are going to be what they are. Meaning TJ Dillashaw, no juice, but I have to assume that without the juice, he's still pretty much the same fighter. I can't make wild assumptions. Same with long layoffs. And then Tony White said, Arce at Tiger Showman's, those dudes do not get tired. And you're right. Lyman Good, perfect example. That dude has great cardio, especially for somebody as jacked as he is. Keep going
Okay.
The ownership.
So I'll repeat about the Jordan Williams ownership. He's at 31% on DraftKings. Wow, he's at 36 on FanDuel. Mickey Gall's at 19% on DraftKings and 22% on FanDuel. So from that, it just looks like the majority of the crowds think that maybe Jordan Williams is the bigger, stronger fighter, maybe gets the more power shots on Gall, maybe gets a late round 1 to maybe round 2 late finish. It's possible. Gall's been finished. But I have a feeling that Jordan Williams might take a bit of a slower approach, maybe have more of a feel-out process. Mickey Gall is going to try to clinch with a body lock, maybe get a trip for a takedown or two. So I think this fight could be a bit slower, but I do think Jordan Williams can pull it off by maybe a late finish to at least on the judge cards. I think Jordan Williams can at least get that done. Mickey Gall, no.
Yeah, I mean, if it ends up on the ground somehow and he pulls it off, then absolutely, Mickey Gall should have that. Dan Kramer just messaged me saying, I'm going to hop on now if you're still on. So we'll see when he shows up. But Danny should be joining us.
Hey, big bro Dan.
Tony saying Mickey Gall should be good in GPPs because he's so lowly owned. And that's exactly why this ownership stuff is helpful if you're a GPP guy. Exactly why. All right, keep going while we wait for.
Okay. Now, it's like some people say, I talked to a couple people. They think this is the true people's main event or co-main event. Soriano versus Allen. That fight. If you feel so strong on one side, I'm not going to push you off of it. But Soriano does have wrestling background credentials. He does have insane power for 185. For a guy at 185, I've never seen someone's shoulders so wide and so stocky. And that scares me because I'm trying to go down to 185. So I might have to consider that one. But then there's Allen. He doesn't have the strong approach of wrestling. He's more of a BJJ wrestler where he wants to get a hold of you, body clinch, maybe get a trip off the cage, get into a side mount, and then work his way for a sub, maybe for like a guillotine or a rear naked choke. If you think Allen's going to go to the approach of, yes, he will just go for takedowns aggressively, yes, I think he'd be a good play. But if you're telling me he's going to come into the approach like he did against Sean Strickland, I want 0%. He might go to Betty Bed if he tries to pull that approach.
Somebody asked you if you like Belbita or Goldy.
Belbita.
Good. Aaron asked about hot sauce. So Aaron sent us some hot sauce. You told me to put it in the fridge. So I put it in the fridge because the box was hot. It's in the fridge. And I'm actually going to try it tomorrow. Jacob is coming over tomorrow with his mom, Vavavoon. I'm going to grill some steaks and stuff, and I'm going to use that hot sauce. So I will let you know tomorrow, and I'll bring a bottle and show everybody. I really appreciate it. Plug your website and plug all that right now in the chat. You're welcome to do it. Appreciate you sending that.
Aaron's on his Dustin Poirier hot sauce grind. Okay, Aaron.
I mean, I love my sauces, so we'll see.
So do I.
I'm a big grill guy, so we'll test it out tomorrow.
I'll be using my smoker a lot. I love it.
What do you have? What kind of smoker?
It's not really mine. It's my dad's, but I'm not really necessarily too good with names on it. But I like throwing,
what kind?
meatloaf.
Like, is it you burn the wood and it's wood?
Yeah,
smoke?
it's like little
pellets, charcoal.
It's like sometimes like little wooden pallets.
Yeah, pellet smoker.
Yeah.
Kane music. Elkins or Minner? I'm hearing Minner gas tank is bad. Elkins isn't the best. What are your thoughts? So I have Minner. Minner in the past, his gas tank might not have been the best, but recently his gas tank has been good. He's made some changes. He's got a solid gas tank right now. And I like Minner to win this because I think his wrestling will be nonstop. I do think his gas will be okay. Darren Elkins is always there for a last-minute sub and a flyer. But I do think Minner wins this. What do you think, Joe?
I'm more on the underdog in this fight. Yes, Minner does train with James Krause, which I'm a fan of. I think James Krause is a coach that's on the rise for coaching. But this fight's going to be close. Elkins does have good wrestling, but he tends to give up takedowns, which that's going to favor Minner early in the rounds with no body sweat, no type of worrying about getting pushed off the body. If Minner can get into side mount, maybe even get into mount, I think Elkins is screwed. But I think this is a toss-up because I prefer Elkins more well-roundedness in this fight game than over Minner. Just a good wrestling credential with good grappling, but also Minner has lost a handful of times by sub. And Elkins is aggressive in the fight game, so he could go ahead and attack for a sub.
Yeah, I like Minner in my DraftKings lineup because he's definitely going to score a bunch of points with takedowns and control time. And even if he gets submitted and something crazy happens, I think he'll still rack up some solid points before that. And I'm actually checking bets now because I may throw a bet, that same bet that I have here. Bang, bang, bang. I have Raulian Paiva wins inside the distance, but a decision, no action. So that means if Paiva wins by knockout or submission, I win my bet. If he loses a decision, I get my money back. I actually might grab that exact same thing for Darren Elkins because he's always live. Checking the odds right now. So why don't you do the next one while Dan figures out how to use his internet?
Okay, so just to go over the quick percentage odds for Soriano and Allen. I don't know if I went over that, but Soriano's currently at 36% on DraftKings, while he's more owned on FanDuel at 40%. Allen is at 31 on DraftKings and 33% on FanDuel. For at least for that fight, I think you definitely need some kind of action for that fight on DraftKings. Either winner, good salaries, so both of them could easily pay off their price tag.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm more on the Soriano train. He still has good wrestling credentials. No one's been able to take him down yet. Allen, I don't think he has the best overall wrestling takedowns, but he does have good BJJ type takedowns where he gets the body lock. But we've seen previous, Brandon Allen does not like to get hit. Soriano is not Carl Roberson, which Carl Roberson is just a pure striker with almost a fish in the water when it comes to any type of ground game. But I think Soriano, and I think I saw your bet. He said Soriano over 1.5 rounds. I can see that first round being almost like a closer first round. You know, he's defending takedowns off
think
Allen.
Allen will basically be on his bicycle.
Yes.
So I do think it goes a little bit because Allen's not stupid.
No.
So I think he knows the power's there, and he's got the grappling. So he's either going to try to wear out Soriano's legs or just stay on his bike for a little bit. Question for Jacob, who's in the chat. He said he's working on his cardio so that he could fight Joey T.
Hey.
Ask Jacob, does Belbita come out with a weapon? I just placed a bet. So if I hit this bet and it's in the recap, don't accuse me of lying. I just placed this bet. I just did Darren Elkins wins inside the distance, but a decision is no action at plus 160. So if Darren Elkins pulls off a Hail Mary sub, I get plus 160. If Darren Elkins loses the decision, which is likely, I get a refund. Danny Boy is here. I'm adding him in. Hello, Daniel. How are you?
What's up? What's up, boys?
What's up, Dan? How you doing, brother?
What's going on? Angelo, got you on the payroll yet? We got to get you on there, Angelo. Get that set up.
Hey, I'm waiting.
Removed you and Jacob from the payroll. You guys don't go anywhere anymore,
Hey.
so.
You can't remove part owner, all right? That's Jacob. I don't know. Where is he? He's
Jacob's
late.
in the chat. He says he's at the gym, so he left his mommy at home and went to the gym.
What does he do at the gym? The bun blaster.
He just walks up and down the stairs in the Stairmaster.
He's probably one of those wanderers at the gym. He just walks by a machine, chats with somebody for a little bit, then goes to the next machine, does a rep or two, goes to another one.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. He'll do exactly 3 curls, next machine, 2 curls, next machine.
Stand in front of the mirror for a few minutes. What's going on?
Jacob's not wrong. He said he put his hours in this week, which he did.
Yeah, it's
and you're
true.
Just showing up now. Late.
Yeah, this is a tough week for me to engage in this argument, but yeah, I was out of town all week.
Strangers. Wow, he hammered you there.
Damn.
I don't talk to strangers. Yeah,
it's been a while, Danny.
He's like that little kid on Kindergarten Cop.
So, Dan, you're here. If you guys have questions for him, ask. My question for you, and this is hard, I guess, what fight are you most looking forward to, and which pick do you like the most? And I said this card is almost impossible where every fight can go either direction. But like, where are you more confident than most?
So the one I think I like the most right now, and yeah, first of all, this is a tough week, especially when I was traveling. I was trying to get my taping in at night, in the hotel rooms. But Yeah, it was a crazy week for work, but even with that being said, dude, there's a lot of tough fights to call. So I went very light this week. There was nothing I felt crazy good about, like the Cody Law bet, a few weeks ago or whatever. But the one I think I like the most, and the one that I'm literally still thinking about up to this minute, if I'm going to make a play, another play is Sandhagen Dillashaw. I like the over 2.5 rounds at even money. But
I do love that bet. That's my favorite bet that you have. I'm actually on my other screen while we're talking. I'm going to do that right now.
And honestly, I think if that bet, I don't know. It's tough to say. There's so many unknowns with how Dillashaw is going to look coming back after the suspension and the type of suspension it was, he had, and what he was actually taking or allegedly taking. Like, I think it was
not
EPO,
allegedly
right?
when you fail the test.
Right. Whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I don't know. I don't know if he disputed it or if he admitted it. I'm not even sure the details, but it was EPO. I think was the one that.
Yeah, it was.
And
then they went back. Sorry,
so
he failed, and then he went back and tested all of his previous samples because obviously technology changes every year. So they went back and tested all the B samples, and it wasn't in any of them except for one that was not in a fight camp. So he wasn't. We can definitively say he wasn't taking that for any of his fights up until the loss.
Well, I don't know if you can ever definitively say that but yes, all right, cool. That's actually a good thing to know. So let's assume he wasn't for a lot of the other fights. And that's all the more reason why there's value on Dillashaw. But just from what I've heard about EPO specifically is, look at that. Of course you put that one up there. Angelo does know his stuff. The one thing I'll say is from what I've heard about EPO is it gives you insane cardio to where you don't get tired. And in a fight, that is like, I mean, I can't, like, there was never a fight where I wasn't tired and I trained very hard, but like you get tired in fights and it changes the way you can perform dramatically. If you could fight and not get tired, I mean, you can do anything almost. So to have that in one fight and then to not have it and add in a 2-year layoff, like, I don't know, mentally, physically, that's just got to be a pretty big challenge. That's a weird comment, Jacob. You should actually you should ask around at the gym for if they have any advice on substances, because whatever you're doing isn't working. No, I mean, EPO was a huge thing at one point. I forget all the other guys that got popped for it, but around the gym, it was like known that before USADA was testing, that was one of the things a lot of guys were using to get a huge edge. Like, steroids was going on, but like that was easily tested for. And I don't even know if the benefits were always good with some of the steroids people took. Like, sometimes you get too much muscle, it slows you down and it doesn't help your cardio. But like the EPO thing and Lance Armstrong too, he talks about it. He would go for days and days and days at like max capacity because he was taking EPO. It's like blood. I think it's like blood doping. Like, you basically have more blood in there to do things as hard as possible for longer. And what could benefit you more in a fight than that? So
yeah, cardio. I'll take cardio over strength or technique any day of the week.
Cardio is probably, if not the most important, it's right up there with just about anything else in a fight. So assuming he's not on anything for this one, right? Like, he may be a very different fighter. But to your point, Angelo, I think you probably made it earlier. He was still world champion caliber for a long time, so I think, I don't know. I may take a stab at Dillashaw at the money line on that, or like a prop with him with like an early knockout or something like that, because I just think there's some value. But right now, I really like the over 2.5 rounds because I think at a minimum, even if he does have some ring rust, he's gonna be.
That's minus money now, so the money's moving. It's not crazy, but it is moving a little bit.
What, the over 2.5?
Yeah,
right.
It's minus 105, so it hasn't moved a lot, but that It just tells you people are on it. Aaron, first of all, Dan, I don't know if you got your hot sauce. I got mine. Aaron sent it. Aaron said he's having trouble depositing with Bet Online. This is what I had to do. I did my debit card, and then I got an alert from my bank saying, hey, is this you? And I said, yes, it is. And then I did it, and it worked. Credit card, exact same thing, and it worked. You don't need the Bitcoin thing is super easy. I don't have Bitcoin either. That's super easy. But the biggest thing is your bank is just trying to protect you, thinking like, oh, hold on, somebody's trying to gamble online with your credit card. So you just have to tell them it's not a scam, and then you're good to go.
The easiest thing you can do.
Once you're up and running, you're up and running.
Yeah, the easiest thing you can do is call them and have them tell them, hey, I'm going to have some, deposits or whatever, or withdrawals coming from overseas. Like, please approve international transfers. But more importantly, have them text you alerts. Like, if you don't ask them for the text alerts, they just automatically assume it's fraud. Like, this used to happen to me when I traveled overseas for work. My card would just shut off. And then eventually I switched it to text alerts. So like Angelo said, they just ask you, you click yes, and then it goes. Then you just have to do it a second time and it'll go through. I actually watched my friend do it here
annoying.
At the house.
We recognize it's annoying. That's why literally anybody here who signed up for Bet Online through our links, I will Venmo you $20 as like a thank you for supporting us. And
right.
But getting it in is annoying, and it's literally just your bank protecting you. Once it's in there, easy to play, and it's easy to withdraw. I mean, we just withdrew a whole bunch of money last week. Took a day, bang.
Yeah, I did the Bitcoin thing too at one point just to try it because I do have a little bit of Bitcoin. That is super easy. That's like instantaneously, no strings attached.
And I'm not a crypto guy at all, but I do my withdrawals with Bitcoin. You get it like almost immediately, and then converting Bitcoin to cash is one click of the button, and then you're all set. You can do whatever you want with that. So, either way, hopefully that helps you. Danny, Tony White is saying, and same for you, Joe. We'll go in order. Joe, you first. He might double up the main event in DraftKings.
Okay, that's for cash.
Cash league, single entry cash league.
Okay. I know for some main events you can do double ups, but depends on what side you feel. If you think Sandhagen can win, I feel Sandhagen finished the fight under 4 rounds, so I wouldn't double it. But if you think it can be a competitive 5-round war, I wouldn't. I still don't like double like the main event because I'm more of a one-sided guy. But if you think it's gonna be a war, like the first fight between Figueiredo and Marino, then I wouldn't be against it. But I wouldn't double up. I think either Dillashaw is gonna make the fight go 5 rounds, win a decision, or Sandhagen finishes it with under 4.
Danny boy.
Yeah, I mean, in a cash game, I don't hate it. I mean, there's always value in a 5-round fight where you can get one of them for around $7,000 and the other one for it blends out to being like $8,100 each usually. So yeah, I mean, I don't hate it in a cash game. I've gotten away from it a little bit just because we're all so competitive. Like I had a few 6-0 weeks, and I'm like, I'm chasing that perfect lineup a little bit. But no, it's not a bad idea, especially if you think Dillashaw is going to be competitive throughout the fight, which the more I talk to people, the more I'm watching, the more I'm hearing, I think he will be. It may end up being a good play for a cash game. Tournament, obviously not. You never really want to do that for a tournament. But I'm about to look into right now when we get off this call. Geez, the fight start at 4, huh?
It's very nice. Yeah, the fights start in 40 minutes. If your lineups are not done, finish them. If you have questions about your lineups, ask now. Also, if you're in here, I am not online right now. I'm here. So if a fight drops, let us know so we can share with the world.
Please.
The best thing that ever happens to me, Dan and I bet our DraftKings lineups every single week. The best thing that ever happens. Last week, I could not have warned Dan more. Text, group text, individual text, doesn't look at it, calls me cursing and yelling that a fight dropped. Not my problem, buddy.
Yep. Who won that week too, by the way?
What'd you say?
Who won that week?
Who knows, man?
I think I remember. I beat you with 5 actually, so that's I'm surprised you brought that one up of all
that
weeks.
week you did pay me. Tiffany, like, you know how Venmo like has public whatever. She was like, "Why'd you send Dan money?" And so I had to screenshot how much I sent you and how much you sent me. I was like, "Just here you go, okay, relax."
You always do the public payments too. Like
I don't, because I should shut that.
well, especially considering the comments you have in there are never usually nice or appropriate. But yeah.
All right, so a couple of questions. Paiva Phillips, do you think Phillips wrestling is enough to dictate? Well, you are all over Paiva here.
I just think, listen, I think Phillips is very good. Oh, Jacob probably very strenuously working out right now is going to be
like
coming in hard with the comments. Phillips is good. He's talented. And I was not high on him, whenever it was a few fights ago when Jacob was all over him. And then he did look good in his last fight, against a tough opponent.
He was outstruck.
So I think, what's that? Yeah,
he was outstruck. His wrestling saved him.
I just think he's still, he's young, he's learning. He hasn't had the same level of experience that Paiva has. And I think that means a lot. So we'll find out. I think there's value. I don't know. I like Paiva based on the experience, the striking. But, obviously the line says otherwise. Phillips, they're very high on him right now based on his recent performances. But I'm not quite on the train yet. So after tonight, I could be. But I'm just always a little skeptical of these guys that have meteoric rises and all the hype, but they've only had a couple UFC fights. I feel like those are the guys that all of a sudden one fight, someone game plans right for them, and some guy with experience and has been in the UFC with a bunch of fights comes out and shows that, hey, it's not easy to just go right to the top when you get in the UFC. So we'll see how it goes, but I like Paiva in this one, especially at the odds.
And real quick, I'm the other way. I think it's super, super close, and I actually picked Paiva to win. But then Aspen Ladd dropped, so then I had needed to put somebody in there, and then so I put Phillips in there because I do think the most likely outcome is Phillips wins a decision. I don't think he's going to stop Paiva, and his wrestling should win a decision. So your question around 3 rounds of control, that's the more likely outcome to me. But if you look at my bets, I do have, and I got to move your comment here. I have Paiva wins inside the distance, but decision no action. So if Paiva loses a decision, I get my money back. But if he wins by knockout or submission, I get paid. Joey, what do you think there?
Is Paiva a short notice replacement?
Short-ish. It wasn't like
short-ish.
It wasn't like a week or anything like that.
I feel if it was a full camp, I would more be on the Paiva side. Now he's actually coming up to 135. His cut to 125 looked brutal at times, but I think he does definitely have the experience factor, which people tend to overlook. They just think about a young prospect that's getting some wins. Think, oh, yeah, the young prospect's on the rise. But Paiva, he's no joke. He's still a good veteran. He has a lot more experience. And they said, about the whole wrestling clinic. I'll be careful with that. Paiva is a very good BJJ specialist. He knows how to get attack submissions off his back. He's no slouch. So I think that fight could get pushed into like the later rounds. Maybe Paiva can slightly maybe score off more Phillips. Depends on how aggressive he is with the wrestling. Because Paiva is also a more come forward pressure type of fighter on the feet. So it's going to be close. I'm not purposely putting a bet on that, but it's going to be close.
Yeah. I did a lot more props on and then money lines, but I see you got that comment pulled up from.
Yeah, I've got like 4 more. So let's start answering these because we got about half an hour for people to lock their lineups in. So let's.
Yeah, I just
it's
did
actually. I'm glad you pulled that one up because, well, without getting into the details, I got we'll call it a soft tip today, just on that fight in general. And I can't get into the details or specifics, but I actually just did place a bet on Goldy.
On Goldy? Oh.
Ooh.
Not something I'm super confident about, but again, I just, know people in the industry, and apparently she's a good striker. She hasn't been healthy for a lot of fights throughout her career, and now she's healthy. So again, this is from like, a person to a person to a person type of thing. That's my daughter screaming in the background.
I actually heard that.
Yeah. But anyways, no. So I'm going to make a small play on Goldy just based on hearing that, and watching tape on both of them. It's not that I feel like it is a pick'em fight, but if it's what I'm hearing is true, and Goldy has been restricted by injuries, and now she's really kind of hitting a groove, there's value at the plus money too. So I think she's a plus 105 underdog right now. So.
Yeah, I got Belbita at plus 110. Dan's yelling at his kid. Please, Dan. She's just a child. Dan,
I was asking my wife to take care of it in a very nice, friendly tone.
Nick Angel, is Soriano Allen a must roster fight? If you think that Soriano is going to take Brendan Allen's head off his body, then absolutely. He's actually somewhat affordable. What was he here? $8,200. I mean, it's a pick'em, and you have a pick'em and a chance to score well over 100. I think it is. I think if Soriano wins, it's well over 100 points. If Allen wins, it's probably he might get a submission, but Soriano's got wrestling, so it'll probably be a more lower scoring fight. But I do think you should play one of them depending on what side you're on. Yeah,
for that one, it's funny. That's another one where I'm like, I'm looking for props to make, prop plays making that. Well, to answer your question, must roster fight, I think, if you're doing multi-entry, I think you're going to want exposure to both sides of that one, because Soriano, can finish in the first round. But from what I've seen in video, like when he does make it out of the first round, or even when the first round is ending and he just stopped the fight, he looks a little tired. So,
who?
Soriano.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he big power guys gas. You can't.
Right.
God doesn't give you all the gifts. You cannot have that kind of power and cardio.
And I feel like Brendan Allen just got boxed up in his last fight. Right, he came out. He thought he was working on his striking. He's went out there and tried to fight a striking strategy. It backfired. He's at a good camp now. I think he's probably going to reevaluate his strategy and get back to his roots of what won him fights, just grinding, wrestling, toughness, and he's got cardio and toughness to go 3 rounds. So if he can survive that first round from Soriano, I think he's very alive in the second and third round for a finish. So I may make a play at a first round prop on Soriano, and then maybe a second and third on Allen. So I just want to look at the kind of the final numbers and see how it rolls up.
Sure. Nick Angel asking Maverick or Soriano.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think Maverick is probably the lower risk.
Safer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because Soriano, there's probably more upside to Soriano, but if he gets out of that second round and is gassed out, it could end quickly. Whereas Maverick should win, right? And worst case scenario, it's going to probably be 3 rounds. You're going to accrue at least a decent amount of points. So if it's a cash game, I would go with Maverick.
Yeah, I think high risk, high reward. I mean, Soriano could score well over 100. Maverick, Maverick should win, should score well. Aaron's probably the most insightful person we've ever had on the show, just really recognizing Jacob for what he actually is.
We got more of the body besides the fingers. Yeah. His jaw, too. He works that out a lot, so running his mouth.
Tony White asked about captain mode. Joe, who would you throw in your captain slot?
Okay, so you're looking...
No, sorry. Captain's mode in DraftKings and FanDuel has a different name, similar. You basically, they take a fighter, they cost more money, but they also score at a higher rate of points. So you really want to get the cheapest person who you think will score the most amount of points.
Okay, if you want, let me look at the price. If you want to look at cheap, maybe I really don't play captain, but if you think the Phillips and Pava fight could be close, and if Pava can maybe be the more aggressor, keep it on the feet, and work his strikes, I think Pava's a decent low option. But I don't know what. Yeah, he's a main event. No, he's a main card, so you can use him. Dillashaw, he's always cheap. He's probably one of the more popular cheap options. if you want to go off a grappling, he's a bit of a pay up, but after that, if you work your lineup, you can fit him in. Heinisch, I think he's going to absolutely ragdoll Manoff. I think he's just going to ragdoll the living hell out of him. Since Heinisch did work with Philip Halls this whole training camp and pretty much got a blueprint of how to beat him. So it wouldn't shock me, takedowns, control. He's going to throw punches on the ground. Heinisch is always going to be active. He has the better cardio than Halls. So to me, I think my favorite could be Heinisch, Dillashaw. If you think early finishes, Soriano. My honest prediction, I'm not going to play it because I don't play captain. I think Eubanks runs through Reed. To me, there's levels, and Reed is not a natural 125er. She's a more of a 115, and some things that she could fight at 105. So ideally, if you're going up 2 weight classes on a short notice, to me, that's a bit scary.
So I was arguing with somebody in the comments. Join the live chat, buddy. I'll argue with you here. Saying, first you said TJ has better footwork than Sandhagen. Then you said Derek Minner has good cardio. You're officially out of your ass. First, I'll stand behind both those statements. Derek Minner changed some things in his camps, and he fixed his cardio problems. And I don't know how you say TJ Dillashaw doesn't have good footwork. I mean, am I the only other person who watched his career?
I know I did.
Dan, does TJ Dillashaw not have great footwork?
He does, but I think I think he's calling out that you're saying he's better than Sandhagen's. No. Yeah, it's one of those things where you're getting into semantics a little bit. Like Sandhagen is more of a rangy, like it's not necessarily footwork per se. I think he does have good footwork, but he also is a longer, lengthier fighter. So you can play the range game a lot easier. Well, that's what I'm saying. You guys are like kind of arguing semantics wise there. So, no, I think Dillashaw does have good footwork. Footwork.
And he showed that during his time on Ultimate Fighter when he was mostly known just as a pure wrestler. Decent striking, but mostly known as wrestling. You saw the good footwork, good head work. Now he's evolved levels working with Dwayne Ludwig. So I think he has the better footwork. I think Sandhagen uses his range a lot better since he's more of a background in basketball. He has good feet when it comes to that. But if you want to go off pure footwork, I think Dillashaw easily has the better footwork out of the two.
Yeah, I agree. And listen, I'm happy to debate anybody on anything I say or any picks, of course. But I always ask, if you're going to come at me, list all 12 of your picks. List every single one of your picks for your card. I have to do it publicly. So you list yours, and then we'll compare.
Angelo loves fighting with people in the comments.
I'm very argumentative.
I love when people win their arguments, and I screenshot to them and send them after the week. So keep them coming. It's fun.
John TBA said, what about the height difference between Sandhagen? He looked massive next to Dillashaw. And I actually think that will help here. I have a feeling TJ Dillashaw is going to come with a wrestle-heavy game plan, and he's just going to drop and go. And, being that long, I think, TJ Dillashaw can get on those hips a little quicker. If he wants to do the boxing game and Sandhagen keeps him at range, that's a problem. But I don't mind a height difference when the wrestler's the shorter one. What do you think, Dan? You shook.
No, I'm just, as we're talking, sorry, I'm multitasking here and looking at some lines moving. TJ Dillashaw is plus 175 now on some sites.
Oh man, he moved even farther. What did I get him at?
Yeah, I mean they're forcing my hand here a little bit. I just want to see. I want to see what the plus 3.5 line is at now.
Go to a decision. I do think if I think TJ could win a decision, but if he loses, he gets stopped. I don't see TJ losing a decision.
Yeah, I got Dillashaw at plus 160. Now it's at 165 for money line.
Yeah, he's plus one.
You're just watching Dan's children not have college money right now.
No, are you kidding me? They're going to Harvard with all the money we've won, especially the money you paid me. That's going to cover one of their tuition in itself.
Last 2 months, this narrative.
Notice his argument is always like the last. It's always like whatever the last time frame that works for his narrative. If we want to talk about the long haul, Angelo, we know where we're at. You've been all right. You've been respectable lately for a change.
Yeah, thanks. Alexandre says we love watching me argue. I have no problem, like I said, and I will take it to whatever level other people take it to. If you're like, hey man, I disagree and here's why, that's exactly how I'll respond. You start using clown emojis. I like you don't know the constraint it takes for me to like be a civilized human being.
I love the clown emoji. That one hurt. That one stings especially when someone hits you with like a good point, or you say something stupid, and you made a mistake, and they just hit you with the clown emoji. That one stings to the core.
So Steelers fan just asked who's gonna win the first fight, and the first fight's the Hannah Goldy Belbita one. We just talked about this. I have Belbita winning, and I literally said because Hannah Goldy, although she's short, jacked, powerful, but she doesn't really have knockout power. She doesn't really have submission skills. She doesn't really have wrestling skills. She's just kind of a busy little bee. And I said, I think Belbita wins this fight. Dan said he sort of got some tip/inside information that Hannah has been like super healthy for this camp, fixed a lot of the physical issues she's been having, and he likes Hannah in this fight now.
Yeah, I mean, it's low level confidence, but yeah, I just, talking to people in the industry, there's a few people that think this is going to be a fight where she really shows what she's capable of. So not a high level of confidence in it, but I'm going to take a stab at it just at the plus money too.
Yeah, I got plus money on the other side, but yeah, the odds have shifted. It's Abel says moneyline parlay, Diana, Eubanks, Minner, Ian. You're switching up first names and last names, and it's screwing me up, buddy. Ian, Giannis, Phillips, Puna, Ars. Jesus, what are the odds on this one?
I can't even. I think he did every fight in the card.
Yeah.
What do we think about that? Good luck, man. I hope you win. That's what I think.
Yeah, let me know.
That would be awesome.
The odds. I'm very curious the odds. And Joe, you have a question. What's your lineup?
So okay, let me load up my DraftKings real quick. Okay, lineup. Go to our
20 minutes, guys. Lock in your stuff. Make your picks. 20 minutes.
So I started with the main event. I got Dillashaw. I think he's going to work in his wrestling. That length could kill Sandhagen. He has a taller length, but he leaves his body and legs easily open. I'm on Elkins. I think this is an Elkins type of matchup. He does. I think he's a bit more well-rounded, but I think because Minard can get hurt by a sub, which he's been sub plenty of times. I'm big on Eubanks. It's crazy to say. I think, like I said, there's levels.
She's like a 5-1 favorite.
Yeah, but for betting odds, not a lot of people will touch her because they think, oh, maybe the cardio. But to me, there's levels to it. This girl's coming in short notice. She's up a weight class or two, so I'm not going near that. My safest play, Ian Heinisch. I think he's an absolutely ragdoll Amidov. Maverick over Barber. More well-rounded, more tools. I think he's going to take Barber maybe another fight to get fully adjusted to the new camp with Uriah. And I'm going back and forth between my last pick, but right now I do got Soriano over Allen. Earlier I had Jordan Williams, but I think Soriano could catch Allen early or even a second-round knockout, an 8,200. That's leverage. So I think I'll pull a Jacob. My line's going 6-0.
There we go.
Yeah.
We have a question. Dan, what do you think of a bet on first round going to Sandhagen due to the long layoff of TJ?
I mean, could it happen? Of course. We saw Sandhagen get those crazy first round knockouts. I just don't think that's going to be the case. Honestly, I think, again, this is a little bit of a gut feel. I think TJ might come out, and sometimes when you're the shorter guy, and let's face it, TJ's been a champion before. He knows how to put game plans together. He's going to work to get on the inside and throw big shots. I mean, and wrestle. So when you mix those two, right? If Sandhagen's got to worry about a takedown, and then TJ's working to get inside, throwing big shots, I think TJ could land a big shot early too. So I don't love the Sandhagen first round, and especially due to the long layoff. If there's a round where TJ's probably
Gonna stay away.
Gonna be somewhat
alive.
fresh. It's gonna be the first. You know what I mean? So it's a tough one to call, but I don't love the first round Sandhagen stoppage. So, but don't do it because of me, because it'll happen now probably.
Here's the payout on It's Abel's parlay. We're rooting for you, buddy. $15 to win $1,162. Good luck.
Good luck.
I love it now. What a great parlay that is. And Dem God said, put Williams in instead. Allen is a better fighter. Sounds risky.
All depends how you feel about that fight, though.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it earlier. This card is the closest matchups I've seen on a card in a very long time. Every single fight could go either way. Dan, thoughts on Maverick versus Barber? Do you think there's any value in Macy Barber here?
I mean, let's just look at it, because I have Maverick in my lineup, so I'm going with Maverick. I think she's just going to be a little bit better everywhere. She puts up some points too in her wins. I mean, she's got 104 DraftKings point average, so she's got a lot of upside there in terms of points. And Barber, let's just see what her price is at right now. I mean, I'll be honest, in a lot of these fights where it is, I'm trying to see the final odds where they're at now, if they're moving or not. She's minus 155. That's about right. I feel like that's where she should be. I like Maverick in the fight from a betting standpoint, and then from a DraftKings standpoint, Barber is, how cheap is she?
And then
she's $7,800. I don't know. I don't. Right, did I read that right? Yeah, $7,800. Yeah, I mean, I like Maverick in the fight, so that's my play. There could be some value in Barber there. She's not cheap enough though. Like if she was 7,100, 7,200, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's a good value, especially in this sort of fight where, minus 155 plus 125 type fight. There's always value in those kind of, I don't want to call them pick 'em, but close to pick 'em fights that are probably going to go 3 rounds. But at $7,800, I mean, you could get Brendan Allen for $8,000. You could get Soriano for there's a lot of people in that range that probably have a lot more upside for around the same value. So
both are wrong. I don't know what he's saying, but I don't think he likes us.
Well, there's 3 of us, so sorry,
right.
Joe and Angelo. He's probably talking about you. I'm kidding.
I think I'm the right one.
I'm sure it was me.
I think I'm the
ask him to elaborate.
Yeah, and list all 12 of your picks.
Settle down, Angelo, getting all angry here. Maybe he's right. Maybe we are wrong about something. I don't know. Let's hear what
Dan, don't be so civil, please.
Let's have a conversation. Jeez.
It's 14.
You didn't send the clown emoji yet. You're already yelling. You just went into this whole thing like, I will speak back at the level that they speak to me. You're screaming at him. He just said we were wrong.
14 minutes or 13 minutes now before this gets off. We're going to drop in a few minutes, so any last-minute questions, ask now. Aaron said TJ will not try to use his footwork as much as he normally would with Corey. I think he will get under Corey and not play a distance game. Yeah, I think it's going to be a wrestle-heavy game plan. Absolutely.
Right. Mm-hmm. And by the way, the footwork thing can go both ways. Footwork doesn't always mean that you're going to be playing the distance game. The distance game is not. I mean, footwork can be an in and out type game, or you can have footwork that's just entries, like set up entries with the footwork to get in on shots or to get in with big power shots. And then when you're out of the distance, you're all the way out. So that's a big part of footwork too. Everyone thinks footwork is like keeping the distance, evading, defensive footwork. But there's a huge level, and especially in this fight, that should be a factor is engaging footwork. Like when you're on the outside, you're safe, and how to quickly get in, penetrate, land a takedown, or land a big shot. So that's the footwork I think Dillashaw is going to need to implement in this game, in this fight.
So Player Owning was saying that you guys are wrong about having 6 for 6 lineups. Here's his. He shared his picks. That's all I ever ask. Gall, Heinisch, Soriano, Maverick, Minner, Sandhagen. Gall is going to sink your ship, my man.
I like Heinisch. Soriano, I have him in mind too, but
The rest of them are all solid. Gall is
Yeah.
the other one.
I like Minner. I have a very similar lineup to him. But he's saying we're wrong about did I say I was gonna go 6 for 6? If I did,
I know I did.
Joe did. Joe's the new Jacob.
Right.
Phil H. Maybe it's Phil Hawes. We had a split decision in Belbita versus Goldy between Angelo and Dan. Jacob's pick because of the fox suit. So Joe,
that's actually a great summary of our show, right?
Yeah.
Angela and I talking about close fights and what and then Jacob being the deciding factor based off of something from Embedded or their Instagram or the fox suit.
So Joe, what are your thoughts, Joe?
I'll have to say slightly more towards Belbita. I think she's the more aggressive. She has wild furies in her combos where she does have a fiat process, which against Goldy you got to be careful with. She's the bigger, stronger fighter, and she can maybe be able to use her size to outmuscle her. But man, Belbita do got some hands. She's a pretty woman. Don't get me wrong. I saw her on Instagram like Jacob, but she's a pretty woman. She has good hands, but I still think that fight still goes 3 rounds to a decision.
Yeah, should be interesting. And all good player owning. I love the back and forth. No disrespect. All good. Plus, you weren't yelling at me. You're yelling at those two. So screw them, right? Fine by me.
I don't think I ever said I was going 6 for 6. Did I? I said I always
calm down. This was recorded. You can check it later. Just calm down, please. We saw you yell at your wife. You're getting all worked up again.
Oh wow, Angela's trying to flip this real quick because he's been arguing with the fans, and now they're telling her like, "Hey man, relax. It's all good. We're having a conversation."
So King Rob wants Joe's lock of the week to save Jacob's. So Jacob's lock of the week is now like a 5-1 favorite. So Jacob did a complete 180 on lock of the week. So Joe, what's yours to save?
All right.
Oh, so Jacob is going nuts in the gym right now. Joe T's lock of the week. I love it.
All right.
Jacob,
so
you're out.
I'm pull a Jacob for this week of saying screw odds and play safe, I'm Heinisch, even though he's the more favorite. But if you want me to do a big dog for Jacob, I got Darren Elkin.
Darren Elkins is a solid underdog. I think he loses, but I mean, he's got submission skills. He's a legit veteran, and he's fighting somebody who gets submitted. So,
let's see who else is a dog that I think there's some value. I mean, it's definitely not a lock of the week, but there's definitely value on Dillashaw at plus 185 now. He's at still moving.
This is the most. We'll see how it fleshes out, but I think this is the most live underdog card I've ever seen. Like legitimately, every single fight could go to the underdog, and I wouldn't be that surprised. Every single one.
Dude, Paiva is plus 245 right now.
Damn.
Oh my God, really? He jumped that much?
I am jumping on a plus 3.5. Let's see what that is.
Player owning saying Elkins is hard to not take, but his age and damages was catching me out. Yeah, I mean, he was on what, a 5-fight loss streak, 4-fight losing streak, and then wasn't he losing that last fight and he pulled out a Hail Mary? So
yeah, and Darren Elkins is always live in that last round.
Yeah.
All right, so for everybody who's on Bet Online, the Paiva Phillips fight. It's favored to go the distance. It's minus 190 to go the distance, right? So you can get Paiva plus 3.5 points at minus 120. I'm gonna.
So you just have to win. The math is all Paiva has to do is win one single round, and honestly, if he's on his back,
or win the fight, or any other win.
Yeah, the only way you lose your money is if he gets stopped or doesn't win a single round.
Right. 30-27 on 3 judges' scorecards, you lose your money. Well, actually, don't. Yeah. You just need 1 round, no matter how you get it, from every judge at some point in the fight.
Yep. All right. 2 minutes. We're dropping. Any last-minute questions? Throw them out there now. I completely agree with player owning. The biggest favorites should. It's absurd that Sijara Eubanks is as big of a favorite as she is. That's absurd.
So, Angelo, before we go, I don't know if you told Dan or Dan listened to the previous conversation we had.
Dan
you ready to go to Abu Dhabi?
Dan doesn't watch the show.
You're
right. I don't go rewatch myself on the show.
So, Ariel Helwani slated UFC 267, October 30th, Jan versus Glover.
It's free.
That's in
Abu
I've
Dhabi.
literally been looking at flights. Actually, anybody in the comments, because Emirates has a flight direct from Miami to Dubai, which I think is like 40 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it's going to be, and I hear it's a really nice airline. So, I think that's what I got to do. Angelo, come on, man, let's go.
Did you ask Sam yet?
I've been throwing feel. I mean, I have to go.
So
So my birthday's on Halloween. Perfect timing. It's my birthday. My best friend's fighting for the title. He's 41 years old. It's a once in a lifetime thing. So the problem is if they're 12 hours or 13 hours ahead, I think.
Yeah.
So you lose time on the way out there.
So you have to go. You honestly, if you're gonna do it, you got to go for like a week. You wouldn't go for 2 days.
I think I'm gonna go Wednesday through Monday.
Yeah, you don't want to come back Sunday.
No.
Because I was looking at Thursday flights, and unless you want to have a layover in Istanbul or somewhere else, you don't get there till like Friday night. Which if I'm going to go, I want to be there for the weigh-ins and all. But yeah, I think I'm going to go Wednesday to Monday, direct out of Miami. So, anyways, what I think I'm going to do too for Emirates, because I can't fly coach for 15 hours.
No.
And the business class, whatever. If I have to drop the cash on it, I will. But I'm about to buy something. We might be getting a new car soon, whatever. Some things. So I'm looking at these what their best points card is. So because my wife needs a new car, so if I buy her car with the points on an Emirates credit card,
I mean, most car dealerships won't let you buy a car on a credit card.
Really?
We tried, no, like absolutely not, because they have to pay the fee.
I thought that was only with like Amex or I don't know. I'm not a big credit card guy, but
try it. But I know in the past we've tried to do it with the credit card, and they're like, yeah, right. I'm not paying 2% or whatever on this.
But you see what I'm doing here? It all works out. I get my wife a new car as I'm asking to go to Dubai for a week.
Good luck.
Covering the points for the flight. I mean, it's all sounding like it could work out really well for me.
Well, King Rob is talking about lock trip. I guess it's like a, I don't know, price line, but with crypto or something. So give that a check.
I have so much crypto and I don't even know anything about half the stuff I own.
Well, look it up. Lock trip.
Okay. I've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then I got some stuff that a friend told me to buy, and I'm just sitting on it. King Rob, send me a message. You know anything about Lena, Soj, or Wolfie?
Boy, what an absolute degenerate! Like,
thank you, Peter. I need it.
Dan, like he's gambling on the Olympics. He's buying cryptocurrencies that don't even exist yet. I mean, Jesus, dude.
I don't even think I think they're like I don't know. My friend explained the whole thing, and I'm like, listen, it doesn't really make sense to me, but just give me the ones that could be like 1,000x, and I'll just dabble.
This is a hilarious comment. Jesse said, "Are those Pokemon characters?"
I mean, who knows? Actually, it's funny you say that. I think Pokemon. There's like crypto trading cards now. Those what the hell are they called? And paintings that are worth millions of dollars that are just digital paintings.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, those. Aaron, I don't have one for you, and we're gonna drop in like 1 minute. Joey, you want to give him a 3-fight parlay?
If you want to be safe, I don't know if you opt. I'd say Dillashaw for me, or if you want to be safe, maybe go Yanez. Heinisch to me is the safest, and then Eubanks. But I don't know how much money you're gonna actually get towards that since the 3 favorites.
That's a hard.
I would say at least try to get one dog.
Yeah, that's a tricky one.
I don't know. Parlays are tough in this one.
Mm-hmm.
A hard card. My parlays, I take 2 guarantees, put them together just to get better odds, and there's no guarantees on this card.
Yeah, I have a 7-fight parlay I'm hoping to go for.
Yeah, good luck.
All right, we got 2 minutes. I'm gonna go lock in a few. Few last minute bets.
Let's shut this down, Joe. Thanks for joining. Dan, thanks for crawling out of your cave. We appreciate it.
Man.
And everybody else, good luck tonight. And I'll see you tomorrow for the recap.
Good luck, everybody.
Good luck, y'all.